3 years in, I decided to upgrade.
Articulating arms.
Dude, they're
The
fucking
Shures.
like
feels
just
like
the
a-
way that like the bearing slides. You can tell that it's this ain't no janky shit.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, well, Foulke texted me last night. He's like, where are we recording? Because
We usually do it in your house.
Well, we used to. I mean, before this, the studio's been here probably a year now, right? Yeah, it has been about a year.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, fuck, used to be my living room, my bedroom, your garage.
Yep.
Just like, where can we get away from
Where can we set up this shit?
all the
Yeah.
wives and the kids and the fucking madness and start recording? And then it's like, just having a place that you go record, it changes the whole fucking...
Does it?
Dude, it does. It feels like, I don't know, almost like a little...
Like it's a little more official.
yeah, a little more official, but I mean, almost like your own little man cave.
Okay. Yeah.
Where it's like you got your place where you get to go and kind of, let's jump into conversation. As opposed...
It's not the energy of the home.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we recorded a lot of good shit in the home, but it was always kind of weird too, right? Like... I don't know, man. Like at the foot of my fucking bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like for me, I'm a guest.
Yeah.
So I'm in Greg's
bedroom.
his sacred spot. Like this is where Jenny lays naked with him, and I'm supposed to be talking about some serious shit. Like, it's,
Yeah. Or we're ranting and raving, then we take a pee break midway through and it's like, here's all the girls and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They're just going about their Saturday.
But the other side of it is,
it's real.
that's how it happens.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, there are some people that I've seen that like invest all this money into this big, like fucking studio equipment and lighting and all the shit. Right. And like Sean Ryan did that and it worked out great for him. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's a lot of people, statistically, your podcast isn't going to become something that's like super financially viable.
Yeah.
And so it's like fucking just starting it small. I think it makes sense. You know?
I think that applies to any business too, to not leverage yourself right off the bat and put yourself in a financial hole that you're basically fighting against resistance right from the beginning.
Yeah. Which is kind of the American way now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know what today's episode's about. I know you referenced some ideas the other week.
I was all fired up the other week and I was like, fuck it, let's get on there and talk about what a real life resistance looks like to the sort of the growing control state that I see coming. And so many people are focused on the election and there's like this idea that, hey, if our guy wins, then everything's going to be good. And so many people have sort of, they put their head in the sand because they believe that Donald Trump is the savior and that if he gets elected in November, then everything's going to be better again. But the reality is he's just another piece in the machine. And no matter what happens, the sort of these little markers towards like a state of technological, authoritative control keep marching forward at like a very incremental pace, right? The frogs in the boiling pot.
Yeah. Well, you know how you know that no one's going to save you, but he's not going to save you. He was already president for 4 years.
He didn't drain the swamp. He didn't build the wall. It'd sure be nice to have that wall
and
right now.
here we are.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not even a dig at him.
The system was too big. I think he thought he was going to get in there and just like a company that he owned, he was going to be the boss.
And be
he
able
was,
to just clean house.
Exactly. But you have all these unelected bureaucrats who are, heads of various 3-letter agencies who aren't, they're just there. And you can't, it's not that easy to just get rid of them. And even if you get rid of one, there's 12 deputy directors or there's assistant, you know what I mean? There are so many bureaucrats and so many big money interests within like the military industrial complex and the pharmaceutical companies and all this. It's too much.
It's too much.
One person cannot change it.
No, I was actually thinking that same thing. Like all these people that they're not there to represent their constituents. They're there to represent whoever's financing their campaign.
And so it's a false idol to think that Trump is going to get elected and then everything's going to be better again, because it's just not true. And so what I was thinking about is it's like a resistance movement, because we, the people, actually do have the power to shift it if enough people are on board. But then I also stayed up way too late last night eating mushrooms and didn't go to bed till the birds started chirping this morning. And now I'm more mellow. So if you guys want to talk about something else.
Yeah, dude, I don't know, man. It just doesn't seem... I got really this is just gonna be stoner episode, huh? You're coming down off of mushrooms. I'm telling stoner stories. Like, I got super high the night that Trump was convicted. And I don't watch the news. I never watch the news. Like, I was like, you know what? I just want to see what these humans sitting behind their desks on television are going to say about this.
Oh boy.
And bro, I told Jenny, I was like, cause I watched some Fox News and some CNN, right? And like, you know exactly what message you're going to be receiving on each channel. And I'm like,
yeah.
And aren't they in their core all owned by the same fucking people?
It's all programming.
So it's like, oh, this is literal, like they're pandering to this conservative ideology, but they're all on the same team. And I was like, dude, is Trump just deep state?
Yes.
Is this just part of political theater? And for the people that are fed up and for the people that
he's the Republican nominee, how can he not be part of the system?
It's no different than like the NFL. You have all these different teams. Take Seahawks versus the Cowboys, and they're versus each other. They're part of the NFL.
Yeah. And so, dude, are you getting that? Okay.
I'm turning my earmuffs down.
Something that I was thinking about, because they talk about how you can't talk about overthrowing the government. That's illegal. We're going to put you in jail.
You don't have to, because we voluntarily support it. We could just stop.
No,
it's
but
literally
like,
that easy.
well, here, I'll find this. I'll find this quote here in a minute when you guys are talking, but it literally says in the Declaration of Independence, like, once the government is no longer serving you,
you actually have a responsibility.
You have an obligation to start it over, right? And then I was thinking, like, they always get people on the verbiage. Oh, they want to overthrow the government. How about we just dismantle the Republican and the Democrat Party?
Yeah,
because that ain't our fucking government.
You're right. You're absolutely correct.
That's a private fucking party, and we're going to dismantle you motherfuckers.
Yes.
And actually support our government.
Yeah.
And build a strong government of the people, by the people, for the people, and fuck your parties.
Yes.
I can say that publicly. Or is the FBI going to knock on my door because you want to disband a corrupt political party?
Yeah.
Because when the country was founded, there was all kinds of political parties.
Do you just end up with the same people, though, under a different title?
This is why
sooner or later
you have to, like, us humans need to even get more intellectually to understand on a deeper level. Let's just go into what is government. Well, you can go and break that word down because all words have a definition and a meaning. It's not like some guy just came one day and was like, blah, blah, blah. That means sunshine.
Yeah. To govern men.
To govern mind.
Oh.
Mind. Mente is mind.
Okay.
So to literally put a governor or limits on the mind. Mm-hmm. I don't want a government. I don't want my mind to be governed. I don't want it to be limited. I don't need, you don't need, nobody needs daddy to take care. We are our own government.
Yes.
We govern our mind by keeping it open. I trust you. I trust him. We can have sheriffs and stuff to guard our area, but they are not above us.
Correct.
As soon as the powers that be become above us.
Well, and they aren't. That's the thing. It's a falsehood. And
right.
It's something that we voluntarily acquiesce to. And what I don't think people realize this, but getting into like some of the woo-woo side of it, like we are all creators, right? So I can take an idea, or even let's say we're sitting here in Greg's studio, right? Let's use this gym. There used to be a patch of blackberries right here. Mm-hmm. And then Greg had his idea because he loved jiu-jitsu of having his own little mat room. And then that turned into a small business. And now it is what it is today. Yep. That's creation. That's the act of creating value from nothing.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember driving the Mercury Topaz through the blackberry thickets, right probably where we're sitting?
Exactly right here. And I was actually just thinking about that.
And then shooting it with our Glocks.
Oh my God. And now we're parents. Shit. Oh, so people who act in a role such as governance, they're not creating anything. They're looking at people like us who create something, right? Like I created Training Northwest. There was nothing there. There was just rainforest.
Yeah.
Now there is something there that I imagined up and brought into reality that is of value to other people. Mm-hmm. That's creation. Mm-hmm. In swoops, people who are incapable of creation, they're basically succubus, right? and they say, hey, you created this thing that's worth 1,000 units. Give us 400. You go, why? Because we're in charge of you. And so up to date, everybody says, okay. And you accept, you think you have to pay your taxes.
Yeah.
You don't. You volunteer to. Because the moment enough people say, fuck you, we're not sharing our creation with you, you don't get to just walk in here and say, give me part of your creation. That system falls apart.
It's literally like mob tactics too.
But people don't have a choice right now, in the sense of, yes, they have a choice.
But they'll put you in a cage.
But even more, we don't remember chop wood, carry water. Okay? What I mean by that is the basics of life. Most people, including myself, are not capable of living completely like a free animal. Here in America, most people don't like it. We don't have the skills to just be a wild animal.
Right.
We have offed all of our responsibility to the government, to 3-letter agencies, to China, to fucking, we don't make anything. We don't grow anything. We don't know how to take care of ourselves. So therefore, when the boot gets put on our neck, we don't have the confidence to say, no, I'm not going to deal with that, because essentially it's going to lead to death if we stand up for our freedom.
Yeah.
So we have to, in my opinion, no matter how technologically advanced we get, no matter how fucking enlightened we get, no matter how much intelligence or consciousness we obtain, we always must remember chop wood, carry water, because that's the basics. In a military operation or here at jiu-jitsu, you can teach me fucking squid guard to back take armbar, but if it starts going south, I'm going to go back to close guard.
Yeah.
No matter how good I get at jiu-jitsu, I always am going to be able to remember the basics.
Yep.
But us humans...
And that's where you can kind of take a breath, find some safety and some security.
It's a base.
And start building a new plan.
Right.
That's right, dude.
So in the human form, when we're not in combat mode, I think it's Buddha who said it. It's chop wood, carry water. We still must know how to start a fire. We still must know how to talk to a human one-on-one and look in their eyes. We still must know how to fucking fish and tie a knot. But we have outsourced everything to the point where, yes, you have men like us who are building groups of people together now because we're learning, but the majority is still buying into the propaganda pushed upon them through society.
Yeah, of course.
So it's scary for them. I can imagine how fearful I would be if I was not capable. I couldn't defend myself. I knew nothing about what it took to be like a living animal on this realm.
Yeah, this is perfect too, because I wanted to talk. I don't want to just bitch about problems. I want to talk about solutions and what does resistance look like? And you're hitting on it right now, which is start developing primitive sort of life skills that can provide literally your Maslow's hierarchy of needs base level: food, water, shelter, safety. Ask yourself, can I get myself food, water, shelter, safety right now today if there was an earthquake and everything was, all the infrastructure and utilities were broken?
Right. And if you get to the point where it's like, I don't know how to do that, then don't get stuck in that point. Now go, who can help me?
Yeah.
Who do I know that can help me? I'm not going to sit here and try and teach myself how to run wires to connect electricity. I'm going to go, who can help me? Tobin, hey, can you help me? Greg, you have your own things to help me with. I'm not going to waste my time when it's not possible for us to do this alone.
Yeah.
We have to
community.
Yeah, we have
that's
to.
Another thing that most, like, we take for granted that we have a strong community, and most people don't. And there's a point there, which is, start going to church or start volunteering for something, start participating in some sort of activity. You don't even have to necessarily be a Christian or believe in God. Just go to church for the sake of the community, so that you have people who live nearby you who are all sort of, if you're showing up at a church, you probably have close to the same values as far as things like family and what you want for sort of like your neighborhoods and your societies.
This is our church.
This is our church. It absolutely is.
You know what I'm saying, dude?
Yep.
Well, dude, the resistance, and we text a little bit about it. What the resistance is and its actual foundation is a resistance to being afraid of them.
Yes. And now here's another good point that I wanted to bring up, which is that everybody is so afraid of death. And we live in a society that
Hold on, though.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, we can go there next, right? I mean, I get.
Do you guys want some mushrooms?
Maybe. I don't know. I got a family dinner this evening.
No.
I wanted to read this quote though, because this is literally reading it out of the Declaration of Independence. It talks about the rights that are bestowed upon us by our Creator. Amongst these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their power from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it.
Correct. And there's another really important part in there.
How the fuck can they say talking about overthrowing the government is illegal when it literally says
it also
it's
says
our right inside of the Declaration of Independence?
And it also says that the elected only have their power at the consent of the governed.
Yeah, exactly.
I remove my consent. Yeah. You do not have my consent anymore.
Yeah, fuck, man. And so, like, I honestly think, dude, we can get on fucking Twitter and make reels and fucking bitch and make these podcasts. At the end of the day, I don't know if the capacity to change it on a grand scale really even exists, because how are we ever going to get 300 million people to move in one direction together? It's not going to happen, bro.
Not unless the truth is unveiled.
Yeah.
If we can all live by the truth and not be deceived and not be manipulated, that's already been established on this planet before.
Yeah. And planting seeds is important too. If a couple thousand people hear this, but in like 3 people, they're like,
No, I get it. And that's why that's why we do it, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, and I'm not saying like, oh, why the fuck do we do this? There's no point. But what I'm saying is I don't know.
You think the same conversation was happening too in like 1765?
Yeah.
In pubs in New England?
Bro, you know what I saw just yesterday? A state trooper is being investigated for having an extremist sticker on his patrol car. And
it was a Betsy Ross flag or something?
3% thing.
Yeah.
3%er sticker. And it's like, listen, motherfuckers, the whole 3% thing, some people dispute it. Some people,
what does it mean? I don't actually understand.
That 3% of America is actually who stood up to the crown and fought and said, fuck you.
Okay.
That it was only 3%.
Yeah.
That a very, very small percentage of human beings that are motivated to go out there, risk it, and affect change.
That's absolutely true.
Affect change,
because the people who fight for an empire are usually conscripts or low-level privates, right?
Yeah.
And when you're fighting far from home, like throw out some scenarios here. Let's say that we have all these illegal immigrants in the country, and they say, you know what, a way to earn citizenship is we'll deputize you into the National Guard because everybody's rioting. It's an election year, 2024.
And now we need your help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now you have foreign soldiers essentially on American soil, but we're back to what we learned in Afghanistan about a true believer. Because those foreign soldiers who are here, they're just trying to survive so they can enjoy their life here.
They're there because they were told to go there.
Exactly.
Whereas
their goal is survival.
The other people's reason for being there is because that's where their fucking family is.
To win. It's not only thing. That. Remember, I think we said this last time. The true believer, there's victory in death. There's nothing else.
Yeah.
There is no halfway.
But bro, I was thinking about this trooper. He's being investigated for extremism for a 3% sticker, right? Regardless, like, take the validity of that. Because anytime you bring up the 3%, that's not true because there was this many people. Like, people want to get.
Who cares?
People want to find shit to argue about.
It's the idea behind it.
The idea that one of our law enforcement officers is simply celebrating the fact that a small percentage of men stood up against tyranny.
Yeah.
And started the fucking country that you live in. That's the idea that he's celebrating, right?
Yeah.
And the idea of that is now being considered extreme by the current government. Why is that? It's because they are now the crown.
Yes.
That is what it is now. They are
100%.
now the same type of oligarchy or whatever the fuck you want to call it as the English crown was when the men here that had had enough said, you know what? Fuck the king.
Yeah. Yeah. We're here in America. We're back to, we create something of value. The king shows up and goes, hey, give me 30% of that because I'm the king and I have an army.
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's, hey, give us 40% of your income because
I'm the king and I have an army.
Yeah, we have IRS agents and they have guns.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we'll come shoot you and put you in a cage. And then that leads me to everybody is so afraid of dying and it's inevitable. And we need to get back again to a little bit of spirituality so that you can come to a comfortable place with that. And once you understand that death is inevitable, do you want to live a meek life of just sort of accepting whatever handout you can get and being told what to do and following the rules and like that's going to be the legacy that you leave? Or would you rather live a short time on your own terms?
It depends on if they think that they're going to fucking go to, like, most people, even if they haven't even grew up in the church, have a unconscious belief that if they don't be a certain way, they're going to burn for eternity. So they would rather live a meek life of following the rules so
they get eternity on that.
But that's not necessarily moral. We're talking about breaking rules. But we're not talking about immorality.
Right. But I'm saying it goes back down to the fear of
control mechanism.
Yes. Yeah. Is that they fear death so much because of what's going to happen after.
Yeah.
Not here. Here is not what they don't want to die because what happens next. My philosophy is that Tyler never fucking was born and never dies. I'm infinite. Mm-hmm. So I don't
changing forms.
That's right.
Inhabiting different vessels.
Exactly. And it's so like I don't fear death at all. I fear not living.
Yeah.
I fear that I wasted this time here.
The present is infinite. So why live a meek present?
Right. And the time that I'm in this realm is less important to me as in what I do in this realm while I'm here. So if it means standing up to the government and I happen to die, I will happily die out on my shield than to fucking live in a box and continue to be a slave to whatever the king tells me to be.
So you can get your retirement at age 65.
Right.
Yeah. And then get chemotherapy for 8 years and die anyway. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
Fuck, bro.
But it's the fear of death.
I'm laughing because so many people have become conditioned to just chase a fucking retirement age.
Yeah.
And then go die.
Yeah. And I see them because I work in hospitals and I see these people like shuffling in and out and it's like, stop taking this medicine. Just let go.
Yeah.
You're not alive.
No, I mean, that's a whole other conversation. It's like the whole fucking, the cancer industry. Have you read any of those books?
I haven't read the books, but I know everything I need to know just by the fact that we've been treating cancer for, 100 years and still haven't figured it out. You know what I mean? And because,
bro, if I get diagnosed terminal with something, I think I'll just do a bunch of stones and bones out in the woods at Tyler's house.
Yeah. Go out with a bang.
Either fucking heal me or not.
Or send me away.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah. Fucking ports in your brain and fucking sick as shit. And like, fuck all that.
That's not extending life. That's just prolonging agony.
Well, human beings are fixated on sustaining a heartbeat and measurable brainwave activities.
Yeah.
That's like, dude, fuck, man.
Yeah.
There's a quote from Odin in like the Havamal, I think. And it says, cattle die, kinsmen die, and one day even you will die. But I know one thing that never dies, and that's the reputation of a dead man. So the only thing that's ever going to continue to last is not that vessel of yours. It's the reputation of the energy that you left here.
Yeah,
and
that.
We were just talking before the podcast about someone you know who's at the end of their life, and the reputation that's being left is not good.
Not a good one.
So the vessel will be gone, but the reputation lasts forever.
Yeah.
So it's not about anything really other than what do you want your reputation to be when you are no longer here? Because it could be Tyler was a drug addict and lived in a fucking van on the side of the street, or it could be what I am now. I can change my reputation at any given time. And so that in itself, I think, gives life a hell of a lot more meaning. What do you want people to talk about when you're not here anymore? When you can't defend yourself, when you can't right the wrong, and it just is.
Well, that's actually fucking kind of heavy to think about.
Yeah.
Because of the situation my family's in right now, right? And everybody, dude, the overall like vibe within the family is relief that this person is reaching the end of their life. And it's like, fuck, man. Imagine if like your own family was like, oh, fuck,
thank God.
Finally.
Yeah, damn.
Like you fucked up a lot.
Yeah.
But actions, like just like a boat through water, actions leave a wake behind them.
Of course.
Every action you take
and
causes a ripple on the pond
and
of
a
life.
lot of people's fucking wake is just a big path of fucking destruction, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something else I've kind of like been almost like meditating on the last years, like making sure that you are living a life that you're proud of. It, like day by day. And it's not enough, like especially for like you and I, Greg, we're veterans. We see these guys who just get so hung up on what they did a decade ago or 15 years ago.
Bro, it's 25 years ago now.
Yeah, no shit.
You know?
And they're hanging their pride on that.
Yeah.
Because that's their identity.
Right.
They don't know who they are. If you ask somebody,
who the fuck are you?
They're going to tell you a bunch of labels, a bunch of folder names.
Yeah.
They don't know who they are. And that's why Stones and Bones, in my opinion, helps a lot of people so much, because once we get out to the forest and we're around the fire and we get to this certain place, your car isn't with you, your debit card isn't with you, there is no cell phone, there is no nothing. What you do for a living doesn't matter. How many fucking zeros you have in the bank doesn't matter. How long your eyelashes doesn't matter. How fucking big my muscles doesn't matter. It all comes down to when we strip all of the things away. Tyler being a father, Tyler being a brown belt, Tyler being a blacksmith. Take all those fucking things that I've done away, and who am I? It took me a while to go, well, fuck, dude, I guess I don't really know. Then I would ask somebody, do you have a voice inside your head? When you're driving down the road and you have a thought or an opinion, is there a voice inside your head that like kind of bounces things back and forth? For me, there is.
Yeah,
of course.
There's multiple. It's like there's almost like a council in there.
I actually fucking joke all the time with Jenny that I think I'm fucking schizophrenic. Because it's like
it's got like a council of elders.
I'm a battle with myself.
Right.
Yeah.
So those voices, what
if there are multiple entities, for lack of a better word,
inside of you
at once?
Okay, so let me keep going, because I have this one.
Tyler knows this, dude.
Yeah, I know. Doesn't even blink. Like,
This is what's going on, because this isn't your first lifetime. This isn't any of our first lifetimes. Our soul is infinite. This is our first lifetime in this vessel, from this lens, this view. But I have these voices that's like the craziness in me, the dark side of me, the monster inside of me that's like,
wants to kill people.
Or like rob the bank just to see if I can get away with it. Like that kind of shit. I have those. And then
I love that that's your example.
Bro, we've all watched Heat. We all want to pull off a heist.
No, that's a perfect example though, bro. Like why does almost every fucking, at least our generation of young men, love that scene from Heat? Because there's something that's calling about chaos and doing something wild like that.
Yes.
Right. It's the dark side in us.
Going out and being a pirate and a cowboy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And having a wild ass exciting life, which is actually, I think, what we're supposed to be
doing. Although remember, we talked about this before, the pirates were the good guys.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So then you have, or I have, the other voice that like is the righteous one. He's like always telling me like, stay in the fucking lane, law and order, like do the right thing. Then there's like other voices that are talking in the background. Then there's like a judge who's listening to all of this. And so I asked myself, like,
is this a straight council?
Right.
I want someone to paint a picture.
Council of all this council meeting inside my head. And then there's like a judge listening. And it's like, well, I'm not the listener or the people. I'm watching all of it. I'm above all of that shit. I'm infinite awareness, self-awareness. I'm the observer, and that's it. Which is why there's things like Akashic records that you can tap into. People meditate. People use sound healing, frequency. They're going up to a different realm, which is a tether to this vessel. So just yesterday, I did a ceremony, and that was the big topic. Who am I? Who am I? If I take all of your accolades and strip you naked and we go to the woods for the rest of our life, no money, no nothing, who are you? And in today's world, I think a lot of us don't really know who we are, which also scares the shit out of us.
Bro, a lot of people don't like what we're doing right now. Mm-hmm. If we weren't recording, because we talked for an hour before we started recording.
Yeah.
And I even said, fuck, I wish the mics were on, because we just went over a lot of cool shit. Right? I think a lot of people never get any of this out with other human beings ever.
Mm-hmm.
Because what are you going to think?
Because they're all at home scrolling on their magic mirror, right?
Bro, you know what I've thought of, like, who are you? Like in your very core, you go to all these different plant medicine ceremonies, and I haven't done nearly as many as you guys have. So it'd be interesting to get your perspective. But what I continuously see is in people's core, they're one of two people. They're people that are afraid or they're people that are excited.
Yeah.
That seems to be like the two. And I'm not saying you can't go from one to the other or switch or go back and forth, but it seems like that's in the very, very core of who human beings are. They're either fear or like fucking power.
Yeah.
It's
life energy. Yeah.
Because it's the same. Just like hot and cold is the same. It's just different ends on the spectrum.
It's opposite polarity.
It's temperature. Fear and love are on the same plane. It's just one's at one end of the spectrum and one's at the other end of the spectrum, but it's on the same line. So we're all on this path, but some people have been tilted to this side of the teeter-totter and some people are over here on the other side of the teeter-totter. And one comes from, who knows? Like, I don't know the actual reason of why I don't have much fear. But I just put it in a different spot. So I didn't fear death, but I've feared my own emotions my whole entire life because I was so fucking sensitive and I was worried that I wouldn't fit in, that I was different, that like Tyler wants to cry. I would cry all the way up until puberty on like little shit. Well, now I know it's because I'm a fucking shaman. Of course I didn't know how to deal with that. But that scared the shit out of me when I was little, and I would be made fun of, and I would go to school and maybe a girl hurt, like whatever it was. So I just feared my own self, but I didn't fear death. On the other side, they would rather just like live in a box essentially and live for as long as they possibly can because they fear
the end,
the inevitable.
Yeah.
They are creating constant like worry and despair in their everyday life because they're taking on something that's out of their control. It's not possible to beat Father Time. No matter how strong you are, how tough you are, how fucking cautious you are, we're all going to die.
And you want to know what's crazy? Because we're going through this right now again with my family. It's with my father-in-law. I don't need to fucking hide that, I guess, for whatever reason. But yeah, he's only expected to make it a number of days. And they're still pumping him with anti-anxiety medications.
Because you can bill for that.
And I told Jenny, I was like, if that's ever me, let me fucking
Hold
face it. No. There's no plug.
Oh.
His body is slowly shutting down.
Okay.
And the doctor said it's like probably 24 to 72 hours left of life.
Yeah.
And she said they're giving a bunch of anti-anxiety medications. No.
Yeah. Oh, so that he does not have to face the end. I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yep.
Like, let me, it's like a rite of passage, right?
Yeah.
Like, why would you try and numb that experience? This is your last physical experience.
Yeah. I have a sort of a morbid...
And it might be painful. Yeah, you had a front row seat to that shit,
Well,
dude.
no. I'm saying I have sort of this morbid thing, which is like the crossing from life to death is going to be our last great adventure on this.
That's what I'm saying.
In this lifetime.
I don't want to hide from that.
And it's not like I want to die, but there's a part of me that's like, oh, I want to make sure I experience this.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. The absolute unknown will come with some uncertainty that could cause some fear.
Always.
But I would also, like, I've always prided myself on engaging in scenarios that cause fear.
Yeah.
Is like, even if I feel that emotion, I don't allow it to affect
back to
who I
pirates.
am.
Imagine getting on a wooden sailing ship to go to say, hey, we're going to go maraud the crown because they're trying to we're out here in the wildlands on the ocean where they can't really extend their influence. So we're just going to live wild and free. But as you step off the dock onto that ship that anything, like, there's no guarantees.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of crossing that line from life to death is sort of how I imagine that. Like you're getting on one last sailing ship for one last great adventure and you have no fucking clue what's out there.
Everybody used to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And Tyler, do you know, when indigenous cultures partake in plant medicine ceremonies, are the people being empowered, or is a bunch of fear surfacing like you see with Westerners using medicine?
No, they're getting empowered.
Okay. So we're doing it wrong.
Well, I think
It's not that we're doing it wrong. It's that we are so energetically wounded that we can't harness the power of it until we find ourselves.
I see. Okay.
Otherwise, it makes us go crazy. Well, not crazy, but like we have to heal ourselves in order to be able to harness the powers. One of the things that, when you guys were just talking about this, something popped up is attachment. We don't, not we, but people are wanting to hold on forever and ever and ever because of their attachments to whatever they have in this realm.
Yeah. Bubbles.
Yeah. Right?
Trinkets.
But the thing is that you don't get to bring anything other than your knowledge and wisdom to the other side.
Yes.
Because anything other than knowledge and wisdom is something of what we would call physical, form or matter. That doesn't go. You don't bring the U-Haul to the fucking funeral. You don't get to take any of your inanimate objects to the other side. But if we don't know who we are, we attach ourselves to an Army Ranger, to a fucking black belt,
or to a pickup truck or a house.
Right.
Or,
And so then we are scared shitless of going to the other side because what's going to happen? I'm not my truck. I'm like, for instance, some people who I've met have introduced themselves as Dr. So-and-so.
Yeah.
I'm going to start introducing myself as professor.
Yeah.
Right? Don't ever fucking trust those people.
Of course not. Of course not, dude.
They are attached. They don't know who they are.
Yeah.
They're not a doctor. That's what they do to make some fucking bills, or maybe that's their passion.
Yeah.
But that's not them.
Well, and it's also, in what capacity are we meeting each other? If it's at a fucking Christmas party and you're not performing surgery on me, I don't need to acknowledge you as a doctor.
Right.
Right. But if I go into your fucking clinic,
of course,
because I'm having symptoms about something, you introduce yourself as the doctor, so-and-so. Well, yeah, that's because
context matters.
Yeah. You're showing me that you're the guy that I need to talk to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's fucking insane, dude. And I actually get asked that question fairly often from people here. They're like, hey, what's the like appropriate title to refer to you as on the mats?
Greg.
And I'm like, Greg. You know what I'm saying? Like, the kids is a different thing, because the young kids, we're teaching them discipline and respect and etiquette and showing them that. So they do refer to me as professor, but like to think, and Will's the only one that's like, nope, you're professor and there's nothing that you can do to change it. And it's like, well, that's cool because that's his way of showing me respect, but it's because it's a choice that's coming from him to show me that respect. It's not coming from me. As soon as I have to demand respect, now it's
You don't
not,
have it.
now
You
it's
don't
not
have it.
authentic.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
It's fucking nuts.
I feel like I've kind of contradicted myself because I always refer to you as professor to somebody else. Like go ask for professor or
Yeah.
but I call him Greg.
I don't think
I
it's
don't
a
think that's wrong.
contradiction. I think it's again,
I think you're respecting the house we're in.
yeah, and also it's a jiu-jitsu context.
Yeah.
If we're watching the UFC at Novak's house and you want to refer to me to one of Novak's real estate buddies, you don't say, "Oh, that's professor over there."
Yeah, because
No.
we're not in the
You know
gym.
what I'm saying?
He's the professor of the academy. So you refer to him as, hey, go ask the professor. He's right over there.
But again, I would never, like in the Army, when I make sergeant, like if someone doesn't call you sergeant, they're doing push-ups, right? And that, I never felt that. Me and Foulke's generation, and we have different theories on it. It might also be because the war on terror had started by the time we made our sergeants.
We had other things to worry about.
And it's like, title doesn't mean shit.
But I also never had to yell and smoke privates
No, me neither,
to get
man.
them to do.
No, of course not.
If you're, strong leadership qualities does not require threats.
But
And,
and bro, and that's why like contracting teams were some of the most highly capable, highly
talk about a
functioning teams.
wasted resource by
I
the
know,
Department
right?
of Defense.
Yeah. And nobody had to call anybody by a title. Nobody had to fucking play all of these weird, that's fraternization. You can't hang out with this guy. Like, dude, I went to Prague with a unit sergeant major and we went drinking together. But guess what? When we're back on the ground and he says, "Hey, Greg, I need you here to do this." Roger that. You know what I mean? Like it's, once you have that understanding, you don't need all these weird little
bullshit.
titles and fakeness and stuff.
Yeah. Labels.
But yeah, labels. But again, like if you want to refer to me as professor to somebody else that you're speaking of, that is your choice to say, I'm holding Greg in a high regard in this specific space. Right. But if it would be like, if you say, Hey, Tyler, I'm going to need you to, in front of the fucking peasants, just so we can maintain some type of order around here. You're my homie, but I'm going to need you to call me professor. Like, bro, there's people that do that shit.
Yeah.
And it's fucking shocking, dude.
Right? You need to call me king.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
You need to call me king.
No shit.
Fuck. You know, we were talking about songs. One of our friends can sing. Shout out, Christy.
Yeah.
Sing, please.
Yep.
I've had more songs come to me. You guys have heard my songs. And the other day, a couple weeks ago, my cousin who committed suicide like a year ago and never got found had a memorial, a celebration of life, and I couldn't make it. But I wanted to make a little video that they could put up at the celebration of life for just my condolences and my gratitude and love for my cousin. And then when I got done, I wanted to sing him a song. And mind you, like growing up, I didn't fucking sing or anything like that. But these songs are coming out of me, and I've had some people ask, like, you know, I'm the compassionate Viking, so am I into reenactment, and am I into like LARPing like a fucking Viking?
Is that your title or is that who you are?
Compassionate Viking, right? It's like, nah, Compassionate Viking is just my podcast, guys.
Yeah.
But it's not about a reenactment. I was thinking about that. If I'm fucking chopping wood, it's not reenactment. I'm chopping wood to start my own fire. It's enactment. I'm just doing the same thing my ancestors did.
Yeah.
If I'm singing,
You just happen to have done it before too.
right. If I'm singing these songs, it's not about a reenactment. The old songs, every culture used to have songs. And mostly every culture other than white people still have songs that they sing for harvesting and reaping and fucking birthing and death. And even if that meant you sat on the end of someone like your beloved's bed for days, singing them to the other side through sound. The old songs are fucking gone. What would I be reenacting? I don't even know what they are. It's about making new songs to sing our loved ones to the other side, to sing for a victory, to sing for a good harvest, to sing for love with my family. And it seems to me more and more people who I never knew had sounds that were beautiful are coming out. Christy, Danny.
Bro, fucking, if you listen to Danny's shit,
Yeah, I've heard Danny sing.
he fucking just sits, it's just him and I here closing up one night. He must have helped me clean or maybe we were doing hoppe. We do that post jujitsu sometimes. And he's like, hey, you want to hear one of my songs? I'm like, yeah, of course. Bro, he didn't sing it. He pushed play. He had it recorded.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like, yep, there's another one.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And when you hear,
And bro, in another, like, when I was 21 and I'd play music, bro, it had to be metal. You know what I mean? Like, we'd be pounding beers and playing metal, and that's cool, right? But imagine Danny's song.
Coming on in the Ranger Barracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that shit's gay, dude.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's bro, and we've talked about it on the show 100 times, but it's strange how anything that's rooted in like peace or love or happiness or joy,
We were afraid of.
it's fucking gay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah. Afraid to feel soft or afraid to feel vulnerable.
but if I sang my song the way that I sang it, the proper way, if I did it right now on these cameras,
You terrify half the people watching.
they would be like that they wouldn't think that was soft at all. They would be
No,
like,
no, yeah,
fuck,
no,
right?
Yeah.
No.
I like your songs, bro.
Right.
Like,
But then-
I'll never forget telling you that because it was after being up all night on mushrooms, it's like your voice is just gone. And we were all raspy, talking like this, you know? I was like, I like your songs, bro. Keep singing them.
There's something
and the
with
cats, and the cats like the song too.
Because what's happening is that energy is never created nor destroyed. It just
Yes.
can be rerouted.
Yeah.
So because the past doesn't exist and the future doesn't exist, only right now exists, everything is like infinite. So if a sound happens in this time right now, like as we're sitting here, it will trigger something in our body and then it will unlock a memory. This is why you can listen to a song back that you used to listen to in fucking 8th grade
And sing the whole fucking song.
and it will bring you right back to all the goddamn memories.
Yeah.
And
Makes you think of summer baseball or something like
Right.
that. Yep.
Yeah, bro, I think about that though. Like there's like fucking Alice in Chains songs or Pearl Jam songs when if they turn if it came on KISW,
Yeah.
I could sing the whole song.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Still can.
man, where is that at in my fucking brain?
right.
Yeah.
I can't remember some of the shit that I read yesterday,
Yep.
but a song from 40 years ago or 35 years ago is still in there.
Yeah.
And the memories that it brings back up
Yeah.
Weird how music locks it in.
ever even surface. You could go 10 years without it surfacing. And then this song comes on and boom, you remember it like it was yesterday.
Bro, you know what else has a really uncanny ability to do that?
For me,
Is,
smell.
Smell. As
Yep.
I say. You go in somewhere and it's like, oh, and it starts to unlock all that shit.
Yep.
It's like, oh fuck, where is this
Because it's
from?
a frequency.
Yeah.
Where is this from?
Yep. It's a frequency. Because in my opinion, sound or song via chant or mantra or singing, before it was meant to be used as, I'm going to call black magic propaganda, it was meant for healing. Before it was meant to sell you a ticket so that you'd come watch me, it had a bigger purpose. The songs that like you would hear at a ritual or a ceremony, you're not going to hear on the radio. My songs, they're not for sale. I'm not trying to get a record label. I don't sing my songs so you can say, wow, bro, that's fucking sick. I sing my songs because I know that the frequency that I'm pushing out is going to unlock certain emotions and memories inside of a human being that's going to allow them to self-heal themselves. I didn't have to do shit. I just had to project the frequency. But now, like on the radio, there's no healing songs. A healing song doesn't need to be love me and fucking, it doesn't need to be that. It needs to have original frequency, 432, 528, 144.
Bro, there's still healing songs.
There is.
And I'm wondering,
Are they valid though, or are they
They've been
Are
tainted.
they truly what they say they are? Or is
No,
it
no,
just fake shit that someone says, hey, this is a 432 megahertz frequency?
For example, Guthrie Govan. I've told you about him.
Right. Yes.
Bro, when he plays guitar, it can make me cry.
Right. Because it's coming out of the guitar.
It's, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's...
That's another question I wanted to add. I've been curious about, because I think a lot about all this, like cymatics and sound giving, like shape to reality and form. Where like, you guys have ever seen the things where they take like a 3-dimensional temple in Europe and then they smash it down flat and then they show that shape is the same as like whatever frequency they play.
Oh,
on
yeah.
the little vibrate. Okay. So sound is what helps create the physical form out of light and information that the universe is made of. I don't actually know. This is just me like barfing out loud.
Well, bro, everything's moving. Everything.
Yeah. Oh,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Everything's vibration.
Yes.
And so it's like, it doesn't seem strange.
It's wavelengths of light.
Yeah.
And information is piggybacked
Just
on
listen
those
to
wavelengths.
Terrence Howard on Joe Rogan and try and wrap your head around that.
Bro,
for
I
3 hours.
loved it because I had just finished reading Walter Russell's book.
Bro,
and then here he is like explaining it, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
I can't say I loved
timing.
it because that would have to imply I comprehended it.
I listened to the whole thing, and
It all makes sense to you?
it does. But I was getting to the point of I was laughing out loud driving down the road, going, "Bro, no one fucking understands what's even going on."
That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to pretend to understand
Because
I was lost for the majority of that fucking podcast.
Right. You have to understand elements. You have to understand frequency. You have to understand energy, vibration. You have to understand the flower of life, the Vesica Pisces, the tree of life. You have to understand so much that the average person, they can't even understand that Biden and Trump isn't going to save them from dying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now we're
perfect.
talking about like the molecular structure of how this realm even manifests into
That
existence.
is different than what you were taught in school.
Yes.
Yeah, fuck, bro.
You got to erase 12 years of programming.
But you know what I thought was interesting about that is if you listen to that episode, he seems like a perfectly level-headed, nice, compassionate, intelligent human being that you could sit down and talk with, right?
Yep.
But because he said things that goes against...
He's going to be attacked. And
He already was.
Oh,
all
was he?
over the
Okay.
fucking internet, bro. Everyone's
Yeah.
talking about what a fucking idiot is. His stuff's not science-based. His shit's not this. It's not that. And it's like, why are you even compelled to try and
argue one way or
dispel what he's saying? Because if what people are saying is not true, then they're dispelling their own stuff.
Do you see
know
how
what I mean?
people waste their own sacred seed of
That's-
life
yeah,
force all
yeah.
day?
Yeah.
I had this fucking
It
talk.
also shows that every program has a antivirus to protect it. So
they'll defend to the death over something that's killing them because they have programmed that it's for their best interest.
Yeah.
But the way that I look at it, I really go back to you guys in war a lot and about how the fact of it was impossible to win, right?
Yeah.
And why? And it's the ideology. We spend so much time finding the things that we hate in life and attacking it. Okay? I used to be a victim of this too, until I realized that what I'm attacking is all ideologies. I'm attacking programs. It's not possible to beat. It's just like you trying to beat an ideology on the other side of the world.
Mm-hmm.
How much energy, how much exchange was happening for the benefit? How much money and dollars and lives and bloodshed and tears was being pumped into this thing for essentially a failure? So the way that I look at it is that there is different people, I'm going to say. Some people suck the energy out of other people. They're like succubus, they're vampires, they're reptilians. You have people who like love. And what you have is a war, a spiritual war. One likes to fucking bring the crabs back in the pot. One's trying to fucking get the hell out of the pot. If the one who's getting out of the pot is fighting the ones in the pot, he'll never get out of the pot. At some point, he has to stop wasting his energy
And go the other way.
and go the other way. You won't be able to kill it. I hate leeches, for instance. I'm not interested in having pet leeches or anything like that. Okay. But I don't go try to kill off all the leeches and parasites in this world. I simply don't go to their realm, and I live my own fucking life. If I go to their realm,
they're going to start sucking your blood.
That's right. And I will get mad, and I will have to fight them off. It'll be a waste of time and energy.
This is actually fucking a pretty radical analogy, dude.
Yeah. Oh,
yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. It's a waste of time. I will never kill. It would be impossible for me to kill off all bacteria, parasites, viruses, anything that I don't like in this world. I would be miserable.
Flies,
mosquitoes,
Yeah.
gnats. Okay. And I would feel disbelief, disappointment, and failure within myself all day, every day, as in I'm not good enough because I have created a mission that's impossible for Tyler to accomplish.
And now that's going to be what you measure success off of.
Right. So instead of me trying to kill it all off, I do my best. You go do you, and I'll do me. And in the times where we interact, I will try my best to just fucking go the other way. If you are biting me, I'm going to smack you. But I'm not going to sit there and stay in the swarm and get all pissed off that there's mosquitoes all over me, unless that's my choice. Say we go hunting in Alaska and there's mosquitoes all over.
Yeah,
It's
this
irritating.
is part of the process.
You also went to where the mosquitoes are at.
Yeah.
That was the sacrifice that I was willing to make. At the end of the day, we have to understand, like, what are we only have so much energy we're running per day. Where attention goes, or where intention goes, energy flows. So if I am getting on the computer and fucking fighting against some comment faggot on Facebook, it's probably just wasting my life force.
Yeah.
You're not, even if you convert that one person, there's according to statistics, 8 billion people in the world.
Yeah, and you converted one. Well, bro, I think about this too, because I made the choice to not engage in comment wars long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't, and I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And there might be like one here or there or whatever, but like there's damn near zero. But you know what else fucking directs that energy out of you is simply reading them.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
because
yeah.
you're
Because
taking that energy.
You're invested.
That's your intent. It's your attention.
You're still putting that out there, even if it's just in the council of your head.
It's the same as letting the leech come and suck your blood and then not wanting to smack it off now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you open the door for the energy to come in.
And speaking of which, like, this is a leech, right? And people will sit and just scroll on their phone and scroll and scroll and scroll, and they're putting their attention into the phone. And at the same time, it's like a double-edged, insidious thing because they're putting their attention into the phone, and the phone is putting program into their subconscious.
Dude, and probably all three of us are as guilty of it as anybody. You know, but it's fucking
not so much anymore because now I look at like social media and it just grosses me out because it's all fake. We're back to ideas and who you are actually not. Everybody's trying to put out a costume of what they want the world to see them as. And the more I realize it, the more I look at Instagram and I'm like, ugh, this is gross.
I don't know. I think it's also like most things in life though, is you get what you find or you get what you're looking for.
It's like marketing almost, where like Instagram is a really useful tool for marketing a business.
Yeah.
But now, and that's what you do with a business is you try to put forward an image of what you're trying to sell. But now people are doing that on a personal level. It's like they're marketing themselves, but for what? Just for feel good, I guess, or a dopamine hit.
I don't know. I feel like it's starting to lose momentum a little bit.
It is because I think everybody sees through it for how toxic it is and how fake it is.
And also like a lot of people like aren't engaging in it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, you see a lot of profiles where like they commented on something or whatever, and you take a look at it and they haven't posted a picture or anything in like 2 years. And it's like, that's becoming more and more common. Yeah. I think Instagram's
it's dying.
It's probably the beginning of the end for it.
And if you think about it, our generation has now 20 years of social media sort of experience for the first time, right? And so now we're all probably sitting here going, hey, for 20 years, I've been engaged in this in some form or another.
And what
has it gotten other than a whole lot of like mental health issues with people who are trying to be something they're not? That's what we've really gotten out of it.
It's also
the long-term data shows that it comes with more problems than solutions.
And it's also convinced people that money is how you're going to get fulfilled. I'm not against money by any means. It's an energy exchange. But we've been tricked into however much money you have is what's making you successful. And maybe that is true in a certain sense. But like the other day, I came up with this fucking idea that I thought was hilarious. And it's, I'm going to make things that aren't for sale.
Oh yeah, bro. You told me this at the fire.
Yes.
It was awesome.
It's not for sale. It's for barter only.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's going to make a rich motherfucker real mad when I have something he wants.
Go milk your fucking goats, bitch.
You got eggs? Do you know how to build a fence? You know how to dig a ditch? You must have something to offer me other than money. Because that's what's going to bring us back to chop wood, carry water.
Yeah.
That's going to bring us back to, we actually have an energy exchange that's equal to one another. Right now, it's so fucking out of balance worldwide that you can take an electrician or a metal worker and probably even a jiu-jitsu professor, and we make X amount of money here. But if I go to the same goddamn thing in Guatemala
or even Florida
or fucking Africa, I'm poor. I'm still eating fucking clay cookies.
Yeah.
For the same skill.
Yeah.
Because of money. Because currency is what we're using for the exchange. When there's a real barter system, it could be that what I have to offer is actually more valuable than what you have to offer, but I simply don't have what you have. So I give you a fucking forged sword for, I don't know, a tarp. It's like, wow, he got the good end of the stick. Yeah, but he knows how to forge and he doesn't have a tarp.
And I need to be dry.
Exactly.
Yeah, bro.
But instead it's $1,000. Well, my sword, it's like I have 100 swords and you have 100 tarps, and I will not trade because the money isn't right. And depending on our geographic location, the currency changes.
Yeah. No, it's weird how our society has really started to attribute power to dollars.
Right.
Right.
Which is also fake.
And I know exactly that. And that's why, like, I think that's one reason why, like, we enjoy fighting so much is because it's like,
can't fake it.
You can't fake it.
It's real energy exchange.
You know, and it's like, if you're tougher than me, you're tougher than me. If I'm tougher than you, I'm tougher than you.
Right. Okay, perfect.
You know, but it has nothing to do with money.
Mm-mm.
But what we're seeing is a lot of men are starting to attribute their power, which should be derived from toughness, not from dollars
or leadership,
to now it's to dollars.
Right.
Like,
well, check this out.
Like, well, bro, you know who Wes Watson is, right?
Yeah.
Man, he has been fucking like starting to fucking go hard on people. Like,
I think he's a clown, bro.
No, listen, he's being mean to people, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, got a lot of money.
Is he the guy who came from prison?
Yeah.
And then, okay.
Yeah. Well,
is he on a podcast or where is this happening?
He's podcast, Instagram, all over the place.
Okay.
Well, he was at some fucking conference or talk or whatever, and started telling a dude, you talk like that to me again, I'll fucking smack you. All right.
Oh yeah, he told me about this.
Well, bro, that's your you're a very powerful man when it comes to dollars, but now you're mistaking that for physical toughness.
Yeah.
Because then Tom DeBlass said, okay, hey, what that guy said to you, I said it too. Come smack me. Well, now what?
Yeah.
Because Tom DeBlass is a high level professional fighter. There's nothing that can be said now. And it's like, okay, yeah. I guess my dollars don't equal power to the point where you can use that to belittle or be aggressive or like, yeah, I guess that doesn't work. And it doesn't, you know?
Nope. And we're so greedy because of our attachments. Like I would think about I mean, we're all white. So let's go back to our ancestors. Iceland, Scotland, Ireland, Norway. Thousands of years ago. The person who has the cows is going to be the highest person. That's the most abundant thing. Every once in a while, the guy who has the most cows would sacrifice a cow and feed the whole fucking village. He knows, and everyone knows, what that cow is worth. Maybe back then it was $500,000 for a fucking cow. I mean, like our what it would be worth now, right? And then he gets to sit there and know that his sacrifice of his own stuff was dispersed. He gave that energy amongst his village, and everyone respects him for that, not as a power thing, as a love thing.
Yeah.
And now they're all going to work together, and they there's a trust, a respect, and an honor thing. Now our leaders, I don't see them sacrificing their fucking cow for their village.
Nothing.
No.
The opposite. They're taking your cow.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but they have everything. They've convinced us to get rid of all of our skills by either we create things like you said, and then they fucking steal our patents and then they create it, or not create it, but replicate it. But they hold the patents so we can never get free energy or water or change a fucking oil car to high like,
Or they just make it illegal
right.
for you to obtain your energy or your water.
Right.
Your rainwater collection's illegal here now.
That's it.
It falls out of the fucking sky.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. What?
Yeah, dude.
For 9 fucking months straight.
But don't
How
drink
dare
it.
you put 55 gallons of it in a bucket?
So it's just like, okay.
Well, bro, Tyler, what did you say to me before we started recording? People prepare for an awesome Tyler moment because we were having a good conversation. But the way in which you died previously, you didn't carry embarrassment or shame because you didn't die with enough money.
Mm-mm.
Why did you carry embarrassment or shame? Because you got beat by a lesser warrior.
Yep.
A guy that you should have beat got in on you and fucking killed you.
Yep.
And now you carry some embarrassment and shame from that. And bro, like, of course that's that's jujitsu.
Yep.
You gave it your all and you came up short, and it's real.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It's not a currency, dude.
No, it's not a currency. And that's life gets to have a say just as much as I get to have a say. We're in this thing together. We can either be fucking enemies or we can be homies and brothers. And it's accepting certain things that I actually don't have more power than nature or the elements or the directions. It has power too. And in that case, for those who are wondering what the fuck my past life, well, I died and I had a self-worth wound that I was working on, and it came to like, I was in battle and I got fucking hit. My thigh got sliced open and I looked down and I knew immediately that I was going to bleed out. And I just felt like I fucking dropped the ball. That was not supposed to happen. And it was my fault. Maybe I lost, I wasn't present for a moment. Maybe I looked at the fucking...
Bro, you didn't check the kick.
That's it. Something happened and I fucking failed.
That's also fighting.
That's life.
That's right.
Yeah.
Did I fail? I was out there doing the best that I could fucking do.
Arena. Yeah.
I was in the arena.
And
but
bro,
I've held that.
And bro, just because you beat that guy 99 out of 100 times, it's just like fucking Zach submitting me a month ago, right? That never has happened before and it hasn't happened since. And if it does, I'm going to make him fucking earn it, right?
Yeah.
But that's also fighting.
Yeah. It's the reason the
fighting.
UFC
You
is so
can't
exciting.
be perfect 100% of the time for your whole life. And so I carried that with me of like, no matter what, no matter how masterful I ever get at something, I probably dropped the ball.
Yeah.
That was in my unconscious until I went back and rewrited that. And it's like, no, that's not true. That's not true. I will always seek to be as masterful as I can. And whatever my fate and destiny is, And so it is. So it shall be. I'm not scared. I will not hold myself. I will not murder myself by things that were either out of my control or they were in my control, but I dropped the ball.
Well, think about this though. Like, why are things within your control? Because you've put the work in and you've earned it, right? Which means 99 times out of 100, you're not going to drop the ball. But that one time can still happen and it can still get you. Does that mean that you...
It also won't happen for lack of effort.
Yeah. But
Right.
I mean, does that mean that all the work that you put in isn't something that you should still be proud of?
No.
Still gives you worth? Of course it is.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's the attempt, not the the victory feels sweet, but the attempt is what gives you self-worth.
Oh, like, did you guys, neither one of you watched the fights last night. That's right. You already told me you guys were doing other stuff, but like Dustin Poirier lost his chance at the lightweight title.
He lost.
He lost.
By?
He got choked out.
Okay.
But with like 2 minutes left in the whole fight, the fight went for 22 minutes or something, right?
Damn.
And it was gnarly. And that's one of those things. He fucking lost. He dropped the ball.
Yep.
Did he though? Because he put in a lot of work.
He was in the arena.
He was in the arena. He fucking like was clearly supposed to be in there. They beat the fuck out of each other. Mm-hmm. And then the other guy just pulled ahead right at the very end. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's how it fucking goes sometimes.
Yep. No. And for him to hold that, he has two choices. He can look at it like, okay, this is what happened and this is how I can get better.
Yeah.
So that maybe that doesn't happen next time, or maybe it does.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Or option 3, because that was like his 50th professional fight. And he said to Rogan, he goes, I got kids now. This is my 50th fight. And I didn't achieve the pinnacle that I wanted to. Is there a point in climbing the mountain again? I don't think so.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah. No, he's like,
good. Okay. Next.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, what's up next? Not let me hang my hat on something I did 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I once fought the UFC champion, and that's like, he's not going to hold himself to that.
Yeah. Bro, it's funny that that's some people's fucking losses.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? That's his failure moment.
Yep.
Whereas he's ahead of literally 99.99999% of other men on planet Earth.
Right. Right. It's not a failure at all. It's a fucking massive achievement, and it all depends on what story and emotion we tie ourselves to that experience.
In true form of just bouncing all over the place and going off on tangents, I wasn't done yet
Ask.
with your music stuff.
Okay.
Because there's one point that you said to me one time that I think kind of dovetails into what you were saying about how like some people, I forget exactly how you articulated it, but it's like, am I singing a song or am I like regurgitating something that I've previously thought up, right? And you said when you came over and you and Tinsley you sang for me and Jenny. You're like, dude, I was thinking about like, what songs am I going to sing? Like, what's the order? What's going to go first? And then you realize like, oh wait, just show up and go, you know? And I think the most powerful musicians are the ones, and obviously they got a fan base, they got hits that people want to hear. That's one thing, right? But I think the most powerful musicians are the ones that can just go.
Yeah. Because it's not
a rehearsal.
No, because they're channeling.
Yeah.
They're if you think about things, you are in your mind. Whatever programs you know, everything that you already know, your mind is your toolbox. So if you're thinking about things, you're going through your own toolbox, which is very mechanical, very like.
Yeah, you got to open it up and decide what tool I need for what job. It's a process.
It's a process. Okay, there's procedure, there's order, there's a standard way of doing things. When you're not in your mind, this is why I was talking earlier about who are you? And we have the council in our fucking head and the judge who's listening, and then us who's observing the whole thing. The us observing the whole thing is out of the mind. The council is the mind chattering, trying to fucking make sense and conceptualize whatever's going on.
So you say you in your core is the one that's above all of that.
Yep.
Observing.
Yep. Complete self-awareness. We are the same. All of us are the same at the highest level. It's just consciousness. It's creator. It's God. It's whatever. But you're experiencing this 3D realm through that lens.
But what you're saying is in relation to harnessing it as a like an antenna for creation.
Yes, because they're not thinking now about what they're doing. They're just channeling. When you fucking fight in jiu-jitsu,
100%, bro.
You're channeling.
100%.
Okay, you're not thinking. You're not in your mind going step one, step two.
You know what's funny is like, because people ask me about that. Oh, I got to mount and I just couldn't think about what to do next. I didn't know what to do next.
Right.
And I'm like, it's because you're not there yet.
Yep.
Because you can't I can't get to mount and say, I think I'm going to try an armbar Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and bro, it happens almost nightly to where I have like a figure four grip or like elbow to elbow and pant control. And I'm about to take the arm and I have that moment where I'm like, I don't even know how I got here.
Right?
Like, it's like, well, oh fuck, dude, I just come to it. Here I am.
Yep.
You know?
Yes, because you're doing it. You're channeling your higher self. You have put in the program.
The repetition.
The repetition of your body knows the program. When he does this, you do this. When he does that, you do that. But if you're thinking about it, you're not at your highest level.
Yeah.
You're still in this little form. So you build the programs till the motor function skills can do what they need to do.
Yeah, it's like you have to train your avatar.
Yes,
yeah.
That's exactly it. You're training your avatar, and then when it's time, push play on the avatar and watch what happens.
Yeah, dude.
Hang on. So I'm glad you brought it back to sound because I just realized I never finished my question earlier. We were talking about the actual guitar being played and the healing properties of sound frequencies. Do you guys think that listening to music on an electronic device like earbuds or headphones or a speaker like in your car do you think that's even this, like if we're listening to 432 megahertz or whatever, is it even the same as if it's not coming off the authentic instrument?
Nope.
So it's not even worth pulling it up on Apple iTunes or whatever.
I don't say it's not worth it. Like because
I actually agree. I think if it doesn't come off the actual instrument that created the original sound wave.
I don't think it has to be the original instrument. I think it has to be something that can move vibrations through the air. Because you stand in front of a big ass speaker that's playing powerful music that maybe means something to you or unlocks a memory, like you're saying, when you can feel it in your body.
Yeah. Actually, maybe that's
as opposed to just pretending to feel it through something that's
barely
really
vibrating your eardrum
into your eardrum.
So that's what we all need is like a giant. Remember in Back to the Future, he had that giant speaker at the beginning?
Yeah. Because I think about it, I'm actually having new speakers put in on Thursday here because, bro, when I'm rolling and powerful music is on, I'm unstoppable.
Oh, it's way better. It's way better when you can hear fucking jamming song when you're in the middle of fighting. It's like, let's fucking go.
And especially when it's a song that has some history with you, that is something that you've like derived power from in the past. It helps you enter that flow state, right? And that's why I say, like, I don't have to have Dimebag here on his guitar to feel that.
Okay.
But when you are standing in front of Dimebag, it's going to be different. It is different. Yeah. And that's why I'm so, bro, again, to go back to Guthrie Govan, because I think he is currently the best guitar player on planet Earth. He's going to be in Seattle.
When?
August 22nd.
Okay.
And bro, but I think I'm more excited for this than any concert I've ever been to.
No shit.
Yeah.
And it's not even like.
Have you been playing your guitars?
No. I know Tyler prescribed it. It didn't happen. I know, bro. I know.
You know, another thing too is that when we switched music from analog to digital, like we used to use tube amps.
Yes.
If you hear a guitar come out of a tube amp, it sounds different than a fucking digital amp.
Well, bro, and there's a lot of players are so fucking meticulous about exactly what type of amp, what type of tubes, all that shit for that very reason.
Yes.
There is a difference.
There is a difference. And so that changes things when we switch from analog is what it's naturally coming out at, and then we switch it over to a digital so we can put it on a computer and be able to process it. Then also, I'm not so sure that Spotify and Apple and YouTube actually, like, even though it says 432, I'm pretty sure their platform switches all things to 440. If you tune an instrument or go to a concert, it's mostly, unless you're going to like a fucking ceremony, it's going to be tuned to 440. And that's not to say that 440 is bad. It's just not a natural frequency. So like when we tune things, if I get a tuner, it's typically in 440. We play our guitars in 440. If we tuned it to 432, we would think it sounds fucked up. It doesn't sound right. But that's just because that's what we've been programmed our whole life. If we could figure out how to play it at 432, it would resonate, like now it's actually healing you. So the mute, like it's one thing for, let's take up Alice in Chains. Okay. And it's healing to us in our like memories and our emotions and things like that, but not at the atomic level.
Right. Yeah. Like the DNA molecular.
Right. Not the cellular structure. It's not restructuring.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that it causes dissonance within us.
Because there are a handful of players that when they play their guitar, it's not them playing an instrument.
Yeah.
It's them speaking to you through that instrument.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But I think
I was just going to say,
I think very few players are that person.
Right. But that's the channeling, like we were talking about.
Sure.
I
So
think
if you're,
Jerry Cantrell is one of those people.
Oh, dude, there's a bunch of them.
I don't know like that though.
Right. But I mean, you could take like fucking.
Like if you said something to me and like, or let's say something tragic happened and like it caused you to wail, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't know if there's something that could cause me to wail, right? Yeah. But or your wife caused your wife to wail in like sheer emotion.
Yeah.
He can convey that through his guitar.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
fucking bizarre.
Because he's being able to express himself.
But also
his emotion. Hold on one second. Yeah. He has a skill that us humans have forgotten. And that's the ability to express ourselves and our emotions and our feelings without using words.
Yeah.
Okay. This is going to consist of music, poetry, art, some type of creation that isn't this. So although he's not a singer, he's still expressing himself, his authentic self through that. Now that is pure magic to me. And if you're sitting there live, it's even more magic.
Okay, that's where I was going with it. Is when you're actually standing in front of Dimebag or Eric Clapton or whoever, Jerry Cantrell. I think you're receiving a lot more because they are channeling that emotion right now. You're not hearing a past recording of it. You are feeling and experiencing the waves created by that energy in real time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's why fucking people show up in
but I guess
mobs of people to consume that live.
To feel the emotion.
Yeah.
To be able to feel an emotion that somebody else is giving. It's very hard.
And a lot of that emotion too, like is for me, just pure chaos and rage.
Right.
That's why I loved mosh pits.
Right. Because you can express yourself without having to say, I'm rageful and want to smash your fucking face in. Yeah. It doesn't get received properly.
That's right.
Because the words is one thing. It's like a spell, but it's the emotion behind it. Take Jerry Cantrell, and then let's take a singer. Take fucking Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin.
One of the greatest vocalists of his generation.
Yeah.
Right. So you have two people who are expressing their feelings and emotions in two different ways. One is playing the guitar that is mechanical, but it's the feminine energy coming out that we're all seduced by. Robert Plant is singing, which is all mechanical.
I was going to say, it's also mechanical,
but
right?
It's the emotion that's coming out with it. If he said, there's a stairway to heaven and da 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 da, you wouldn't feel it.
Yeah.
But it's the way it's the emotion behind it. So when we do things with no emotion, we're robotic, and it doesn't move you the way that you're talking about.
Yeah. Check this out though, because this is kind of an interesting concept. Like how a guy like, do you know who Yngwie Malmsteen is?
I do.
I can't listen to him.
Well, because there's no melody, dude.
It's just fucking, and everybody that looks and watches him and talks about him says he's the most technical player of all time, right?
Sure, but it sounds like shit.
Well, I think it does.
So do I.
But there's other people that do pull that from that.
Because they're going off the technical skill.
Is it?
Yes.
Or are different people wired to receive
maybe that too.
different frequencies?
Right. I like metal. Some people fucking hate metal. Some people want to listen to jazz. I can listen to it, but it's not what I play. Like, that's not what I'm going to pick. And is it because of that's just the way I am or something? I don't really know.
I wonder what that is.
Individuality. You're viewing this realm through your lens.
Yeah.
It's different than my lens. This isn't North Korea. We're not fucking communists. We're not all the same. We're not all robots. And that's why, in my opinion, it's enjoyable to hang out. I don't want to hang out with clones of Tyler. I already know what Tyler thinks. I already know how Tyler acts.
You already know Tyler.
You already sat at the council.
Yeah. you know the entire council.
Right? And it would be like, just set up a room full of mirrors and talk to all the people in there.
100%, bro.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need to talk to myself. I do that enough. So yeah, in my opinion, you are exactly right. It's people who are remembering or already know, haven't forgotten how to express their emotions without using words. Because when we use words, like we'll take someone like me. I grew up feeling like kind of pushed away, abandoned, not really loved. Not that I knew I was loved. It was like unseen, that my words didn't matter. And so what I would notice is that I want to express myself through my words, because that's the only way I know how to do it. I go to express myself through my words and it's not being received. I feel like I'm being misunderstood or I'm getting in trouble. I'm being there's consequences that are happening. So now I need to double explain myself, which just causes more reassurance that that I'm being misunderstood. And so then I go through my life where it's like, fuck, dude, this is just a constant cycle. But recently I've been figuring out how to express myself without talking.
Well, dude, I need to know this before you go on.
Okay.
Because we're just going to name this episode The Stoners. The other night, I was trying to think about things in my head.
Uh-huh. Can I have that, Toby?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Without English.
Okay.
And you can't.
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
And I'm like, no. Like, stop thinking about the things. It was actually that podcast that start with Terrence Howard, because he goes, I looked at my hand. I didn't know yet that we prescribed the word hand to this thing. So I was just experiencing it for what it was, not what we later decided to call it. Right. And I was like, can I experiencing things? Like, if I look at this cup, can I think of this as any other thing
than the word?
Then it's a cup, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, dude, what if you were raised without language?
Mm-hmm.
What is the brain like? Like, you hear about stories of fucking kids that fucking grow up in the wild and a fucking mama wolf raised them or whatever. Yep. And regardless if that is true or not, if a person were to...
Are deaf people, do you think, have this? Like, do they envision things without a word assigned to it?
This is what we call programs.
Yeah.
So our mind, like I said earlier, if you're thinking about something, you're in your mind. You are the council meeting, which the council meeting only talks about the things that the council meeting knows of.
So it's literally, we're just a computer sitting in bed, like scanning through files.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. At the highest level.
Yeah.
At the highest level.
It's like, damn it, all these files have something prescribed through them.
They're already written.
To them.
Yeah.
Because the mind has to conceptualize all things. It needs a label. It needs a folder. It needs to be otherwise.
It's like try and visualize a color that's never existed before.
Right. You can't.
You can't.
You can't. It's not possible.
I'll probably get a message in my inbox. I can visualize a color you've never seen before. All right, cool.
That's not possible because you don't have the program yet.
Yeah.
It's a child who comes out of mama's womb. As soon as they're born, they're like a brand new computer, but they're still fully connected to
Source
consciousness. And from that point forward, all things exist until we start putting the programs in. And then it's, okay, we run this way. Okay, we run this one. We speak this way. We look at things this way. That's not like we start fucking governing ourselves.
Check this out. Total stoner shit. This is the truth though that I've realized. Cause like I was thinking about if you walked through a forest and you didn't have the program for a tree and you saw it, what the fuck is that thing?
Yeah.
Right? I think that's where psychedelics really fucking take people outside of anything they can comprehend, because there is no way to describe the things that you see because there's no program.
I had a moment like that with our friend Dave down in Oregon, and we were sitting in a room and I was looking at him and I knew that I recognized this avatar, but I didn't know its name and I didn't know who it was, but I knew it was a good friend. And
was this ayahuasca?
Psilocybin.
Okay.
And at that point, it hit me that Dave is just a bunch of files in my brain, like in my mind. I have all these ideas of who Dave is, and I tuck them into this file called Dave. And then I assign all these ideas.
And a lot of those files are annoying because it's Dave files.
But literally every person in your life, including yourself, like you have a file inside you that's Greg. And the ideas you have in it are probably at least a little different from the ideas I have in the file that I call Greg.
Of course. Yeah.
But then if you can get into your subconscious with your own file, the file that is your ego, what you think of yourself and what you try to project of yourself, that's like this deep meditation where you can get into that subconscious files and kind of start deleting the ones that don't serve you and tweaking the ones that do well for you. And I don't know, I'm kind of losing my train of thought there, but
well, dude, let me ask you this then, Tyler. If we were to do a ceremony, do you think you possess the capability to take language away for an evening? Because that would be interesting.
No speaking.
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't have the ability to take it away because it's already once we have a program, you can get rid of the program, but you never get to not remember the program. Okay? The program's still there. I just don't run that program. Okay? So once you know English, there's no way
there's no undoing it.
No, it's just I can block it by every time you go to talk out loud.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, if you need to talk, I want you to express yourself by using my drum, my rattle, I want you to use your arms.
Bro, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do Stones and Bones sometime.
No talking.
No talking.
Yep.
Zero. No matter what.
Yep.
Like, if that in itself becomes your fucking challenge, then so be it.
Right? Because there's
not a fucking word.
No, because then we're going to have to really start honing in on each other's energy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro.
Which is going to allow us to remember our telepathy.
Dude, I'm already excited.
That's the truth, is that we have dumbed ourselves down as a species into our five senses.
The five mechanical senses.
But again, think about it though, sure, we're using stupid examples, a tree, a white cup, right? Mm-hmm. But when you have these people that are trying to express all of this traumatic shit that's going in their brain and they're trying to pull ways to describe it out, and it's like
they don't have words. This
transcends language, and just trying to express it. Like, what did Joe Rogan say when he said, if I had to explain DMT in the English language, it's like psilocybin times a million times aliens.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally fucking, it can't be done.
Nope. Nope.
So why are we going to sit there and try and converse in something that doesn't have the capacity to carry the meaning of what we're trying to send back and forth?
Right, because verbal language is limited to this experience in here. But we are connected to something much bigger than just this in here. So if we can tap into our empathy and our feelings and our energy and be able to use instruments, whether it's, draw. Go grab a stick and fucking write it in the dirt.
Yeah.
Draw a picture. Don't use language. Language is limiting.
Yeah. Dude.
Because here's the deal, is that language has put a barrier of invisible lines on this realm that we're at, where as soon as I walk to this imaginary line that us humans put, I can no longer communicate with the people there. It's divided human beings. Dude, all ravens can talk to each other, no matter if they're in Seattle or fucking Norway.
I never thought about that.
You're right.
All the bears can talk to each other. All the bees can talk to each other. But us humans put invisible lines saying, hey, on this side of this rock,
we talk this way.
we talk this way. It's a control mechanism. So our ancestors, or in the indigenous, they're not using words, they're using sounds. Different sounds, whether they're clucks or haws or whoos and those sounds are connected to certain things. That means look up, there's a fucking bird. I don't need to be like, hey Greg, look up, do you see the bird to the right? Bro, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. That's too long. We don't need.
So under the guise of probably trying to make our communication more sophisticated, we've made it less sophisticated.
Right. Because
the more detail we can have and the more we can fucking break things down. And obviously it's very applicable in a lot of realms of our life, right? If you want to forge that sword to these specs and shit, we got to get in the weeds on it.
Yes.
But I see what you're saying, just in like
general ideas can be conveyed with,
it was meant to be written down. The language was meant to be written down so that it could be passed on to people who are further from your vicinity that you can get to, right? I heard about the Silk Road and I want to know what the fucking shrink thinks there. Well, I'm probably not going to make it to Silk Road, but here's a book to read. And that gives you a good grasp of what's going on. But you don't get to ask questions. You don't get to interpret. It's all up to your own subjective fucking interpretation. You could think about how much we learn in jujitsu. I don't ask the people what their personal life is like when I go to slap and bump.
Yeah, no.
I know nothing about them. I slap and bump and I know a lot about them in 6 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know the fine details, but I know what they're about.
What they're made of.
Yep. And so that's off of feel. This is someone that I'm not even connected to. When we connect together, when we start having thoughts together, like the frequencies coming out of my brain and my heart are going to be resonating with yours. And just like on a water, when you take two waves and they hit each other, that wave in itself gets exponentially larger.
If they're resonating. In ceremony, we're all going to be on the same frequency. So our thoughts and our energy that we're emitting is going to resonate with one another. And you're going to have three waves coming together. So it's going to be to the third power.
We're going to be able to fucking know what each other is feeling in our thoughts on a level that we probably have never felt before. Didn't even know existed because we haven't had that program yet.
Yeah, human beings don't really co-create together very often, do they?
Not anymore. Not anymore because everyone's different.
You know what you could do? This would be like a neat activity to just fucking sit down with homies and see what happens when you co-create, right? Like we put an hour on the clock. We take a canvas and we set a timer and I start painting whatever I want.
Yep.
And every 5 minutes it rotates to the next person.
Yep.
Finish what I've started.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then you finish what we started. then I get another 5 minutes to interject what you guys added in and like see what the fuck comes up. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And now you have a painting that has all of our energy into it. That is going to be a very powerful painting.
Let's do that.
Let's do it.
Fucking A.
Let's do it.
Bro, that could become a thing. That could become a thing, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The trifecta paintings.
Yep.
Pick 2 of your homies and fucking see what happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
And don't even tell each other what you're going to fucking.
No, of course not.
No. You
Yeah,
just sit
part
down.
of that is no words.
Yeah. No words.
Let's paint a picture of William Wallace today. That just ruined it.
Right.
Because now when I receive that painting and you painted a picture of a man, I can be like, oh, maybe he needs some
Supposed
blue.
to have some blue
Maybe
on
he's
his face.
some blue on his face.
Right.
Oh, let's put a sword in there because Tyler said it was William Wallace. Like, fuck that, dude.
Right. Right.
No.
Yeah. I think that's
I don't know if I would like painting under any type of medicine though. So that might be a sober activity. Maybe
Just
some
some
weed.
joints.
Yeah, some joints.
Joints and coffee sound good.
I like that, dude.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
On a fucking Sunday morning church.
Yeah.
You know, it might even be fun too, is literally fucking do it right here
Around the table.
and even have a camera running
Yeah.
to share it with people like, hey, like this is something neat that could fucking transpire. Just see what happens,
Yeah.
you know?
Put it on fast forward so that people don't have to sit there and watch it for an hour.
Yeah.
Put it at, whatever, 5 minutes, and it just passes around and they're just going to see this fucking creation come to life.
And bro, that's one thing that really fascinates me because as someone that played a lot of music when I was younger, finding people that you're congruent with to play music is hard.
Yes. Yes.
It's hard.
It
bro.
is so hard.
And that's why, like, when I look at a band like Pantera, where in their prime, all those guys were black belt world champion, singer, drummer, guitar player, bass player,
Yep.
right? And even, bro, like I watched some videos where like fucking like opera composers watch Phil Anselmo sing Cemetery Gates and they're just like, whoa,
yeah.
fuck,
Yep.
dude.
Yeah.
This is just some fucking drunk from New Orleans.
Right?
No. Yeah, like he had, and they're using all this verbiage. Oh, he does a vibrato here, and then he pulls long here, and then he expels a lot of air from his diaphragm right here, and they're talking through like all the things.
What he's doing.
And it's like, I feel like someone's just doing Phil, bro.
No, he couldn't tell you what he's doing if
that's
he
what
fucking tried.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Is he
You
still
know?
alive?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Is he really?
Bro, Pantera's on tour now. And it's not Pantera, obviously, but Zach Wilde is filling for Dimebag.
Oh, shit.
And bro, it's
Probably pretty awesome.
Oh, it's legendary, dude. A lot of people are mad about it, but Zach Wilde was one of Dimebag's
Wilde's
best
the man.
friends. He's
Yeah.
one of his best friends too.
Yeah.
Bro,
and he even says, like,
fucking crushes the guitar as well.
yeah, and here's what he said. He's like, dude, I'm fucking
Doing
like
this as a tribute to Dimebag.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And dude, Phil is getting down still at 57 or whatever the fuck
shit.
he is.
Yeah.
You know,
That's awesome.
No, but like to be able to find 4 other people and be in an intimate relationship with them, you know? And I talk about that a lot with jiu-jitsu because a lot of people on the outside looking in mistake intimacy for sexuality.
Yes.
Like, bro, jiu-jitsu is very intimate.
Yeah.
A lot of times my face is pressed up against your face.
Yep.
And if I sat down in a theater and pushed my face against your face, everyone would be like, oh, that's gay shit, right? But when we do it in a combat capacity, it still allows for that skin to skin connection and that intimacy, but there's not sexuality. And that's another reason why you said, I spent 6 minutes with that dude. I don't know him. I don't know his drama, but I know a lot about him. It's because you just were intimate with another human being for 6 fucking minutes straight, dude.
And there was no talking.
Yeah.
Bro, maybe that's why I hate talking so much. I hate it. I hate it when people want to talk during rolls.
I know.
Oh, yeah, that's frustrating. Do you guys also find that there are certain people that when you roll with, it flows better and it's like constant movement and you may not get a whole bunch of submissions or whatever, but the fight never stalls out. Whereas with other people, like immediately it ends up in side control and you're just stuck there for 4 minutes.
I'm to the point now, and check this. And I've been doing this 20 years, right? I don't feel like I have anything to like prove to the new white belt that's a wrestler.
No, I'm a blue belt. I have nothing to prove.
You know what I mean?
I'm not trying to win jiu-jitsu.
And that's where I'm arriving is I found the people that I enjoy rolling with more than others.
Yeah.
And bro, you know, you want to know who one of my new favorites is? that new brown belt girl, Valerie.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she's
awesome.
rad, dude.
Yeah.
Bro, her energy when you slap and bump,
Yep. She's there to have fun.
bro, it's good, it's crisp, and I don't even know if I can put it into words. Just like we said, not everything has a word to it. And the last time the bell went off, she goes, God, you are seriously one of the funnest people to roll with. And I was like, yeah, I felt that too. And it's like yes, we're still honing our blade. It's still like tightening up our jujitsu, but I don't feel like with her, and she was a pro MMA fighter, or she was a high level MMA. I don't know if it was pro or on the amateur circuits, but regardless, she knows violence too, right? It's not just, hey, I'm rolling around in this jujitsu uniform. She has fight energy. I don't know what makes it feel special though.
It doesn't feel like there's any ego behind it.
Maybe that's what it is.
Oh yeah.
Oh, maybe you're onto something there.
She has fight, like she has the warrior in her, but she's not trying to get one on you so that she can feel better about herself.
Yeah.
She's here to simply sharpen her blade, and you can feel it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I would say 90% of anyone below purple belt here is still fighting out of ego and pride.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Of course.
I'm not against it. Like you,
and we still do too a lot.
All the time.
Yeah, of course.
Because it pisses me off that this person's have given me a hard
Came at you
time.
hard.
But you can also find the other side of it too.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's like I was with Jake,
Samurai Jake.
Samurai Jake.
Wrestling Jesus.
Or Big Jake.
No, Samurai
Okay.
Jake. And I had tapped him out. And then after that, I wanted to go like, okay, I'm going to go just a little bit lighter so he's not just getting his fucking ass beat, right?
Of course, you're dialing up to meet your training partner. You're dialing down to meet whatever it is.
Well, he fucking did something and got me in mount, but my arm was stuck.
Yeah.
And he fucking armbarred me. And I was like, well, that was legit.
Of course. Yeah,
That was legit. It wasn't like I gave it to him. I let my guard down for a second because I thought I needed to. And that's simply not the case.
And now you know.
And now I know. And so the next time, my pride and ego will be there for healthy to know that, sorry, Jake, but I can't give you even an inch because you proved to me that you'll fucking rip my arm off.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like when the ego's there to protect you for good is fine. But if I'm coming here so that I can leave going, God, I'm a fucking badass. I love that I beat the fuck out of
You're
my
gonna be
friends.
frustrated most nights. Also.
And it's fine to feel that way. Like,
Bro, it's why Daniel's the toughest man in Snohomish County, because every night he leaves practice, he doesn't feel like the badass.
I know.
Yeah.
He feels like, God, I suck.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, there's obviously two sides to that coin too, right? Because you don't want to, I'm not a proponent of always feeling like you suck.
No.
Like being proud of your accomplishments is something that is
Dan
good,
could
right?
use a little shot of Lionheart.
But Dan is happy, or not, I shouldn't say happy. It's not a happy or a sad emotion. It's just where he lands is he is far from content and does not think his jiu-jitsu is very good yet.
Yeah.
And he even told me, he goes, if I thought my jiu-jitsu was good, I think it would make me
Stop training.
he said just make him become a terrible grappler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that he has to keep that hunger, you know? And so it's like, I don't know what the right answer is.
Do you think he's like a small amount of self-doubt away from being like a world level competitor?
1,000. I don't think. I know.
Yeah.
I tell Dan all the time. I say, bro, I was not a world champion. I'm not that level of grappler.
Yeah.
But I shared the room with all the guys that were.
Yeah.
And I know what they feel like.
Yeah.
And when Dan is on, he's one of those guys, you know? But then the other side of the coin is there's probably 10,000 dudes that sit in their basement that can play guitar as good as Dimebag, right?
Right.
It's like you take your skill, and if you choose to do something with it, now there's a lot of other realms of life that
come into play.
Come into play.
Not just one skill.
Like, bro, like, did you listen to Bouchesh's episode? Like, his dad bought him a one-way ticket to America and said, get out of my house.
Oh, no shit.
Not in a way of I'm mad at you, as in you have shit to accomplish.
Yeah.
And it ain't happening here.
Yeah.
And then Boucher just found out recently that his dad had to take out a loan to buy that plane ticket.
No
and he
shit.
defaulted on that loan because he didn't have funds to pay it back. And it's like,
Damn.
and now his son became his son.
Yeah. Wow.
You know what I mean, dude? All those little things. Who knows at what point,
Yeah.
if something doesn't work out perfectly, do things play out the way they play out? And that's the thing. Dan is not driven to be a competitor.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Even though he has some of the best jiu-jitsu I've ever felt. It's
not his jam.
Yeah, it's not his, it's not his journey, you know? It's crazy.
And think about how many skills you guys have like that like you would be good at. Like, how come you don't go for governor, Greg?
Yeah.
You would be a great governor.
Bro. I know.
And it's like, no, you wouldn't, because you wouldn't that's not where your passion lies.
Yeah, I know.
So it's just because I'm good at this doesn't mean that this is what I want to fucking do all the time.
Yeah.
It's not my,
Yeah.
it's weird how we have certain things that we're good at that we don't actually enjoy.
Bro, one thing I've been thinking about lately, and actually I was talking to Semi about it, and I don't remember if it was on one of the podcasts recorded or privately, but he's like, I don't want to be doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
He goes, my business is doing good. Like, I'm financially successful. Like, he goes, but I have to, because for reasons that we both understand. And he goes, and when I'm done, it's about when it's going to be time for you to step up. And I was like, ugh. Like, of course that's the reaction though, right? Ugh.
Yeah.
Like, but every single person that fills one of those positions for the right reason
Feels that way.
feels that way, dude.
Yeah. It's a burden.
A fucking disgusting burden.
Yeah.
You know?
But then it's like, but then who else is going to do it? I feel that way at Stones and Bones.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck, dude? I'm doing great. And now I got these people flying here from fucking.
It's your leech analogy. It's having, he's wading into the swamp of leeches.
Purposefully.
Purposefully.
Right. And it's because I can help the leech transform into a fucking butterfly. But goddamn, it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of energy.
And there's a lot of fucking leeches.
And there's a lot of leeches. And if I don't do it, then they all just stay fucking leeches. They're begging to live a more happy life. We're begging for someone to be a fucking better leader for our community. We're begging for all of these things. There's people, including myself, who can fulfill these roles, but it's like, I don't want to fucking do that.
Well, and also, and again, like we've already talked about money. Money is not the end all be all, but it is an energy, and it can lead to success, and it can build certain paths and whatnot. And once you kind of start to unlock the formula of entrepreneurship, you realize, like, why in the fuck
Am I sharing this I created this.
Yeah, why in the fuck would I ever go back into government service?
Oh, yeah.
Like, government service is just
Doldrums.
low vibration, miserable shit,
Yes.
dude.
And so we have this entity that oversees all of our lives, that runs at a low vibration and controls all of us through fear and threats.
Yeah, like jumping into the pot of that at the highest level, it just,
Except that
fuck, man.
if everybody says, well, I don't want to do that because it's gross to me, the only people left
The shitty people that want it.
the
of
people who
course.
want it for personal gain, so they can exploit it.
And every fucking police officer listening sees that exact same scenario play out in his police department.
Yeah.
Because the people that are begging to become commander, and I took all the tests and I got my scores ready and I practiced all my interviews and I'm this and I'm that. And it's like, the best leaders are the guys and gals that are just like good at their job and good at interpersonal skills.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not all that other shit.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
proficient at your job and you get along with people? That should probably be the person that you start leaning on as a mentor,
Yes.
right? But fuck, man, that's not how the system works.
It's a bureaucracy that promotes completion of bubble sheets, right? It's back to public education. Fill out your bubble sheet test and you'll be rewarded.
And it's like we always used to say, fuck up, move up.
Yeah.
And that's, bro, look at the president.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
it's literally that broken methodology of promoting leaders has literally infiltrated every institution in the fucking world, man.
Yeah.
Or at least in the United States.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
We were sold a lie.
Yeah.
It for some reason, it reminds me of like, we're at the mercy of them, right? They, or so we think. But we've been sold this lie of like, hey, we'll take care of this for you and then your life will be much better.
100%.
Okay? We'll take care of this for you and then you'll have extra time to go and do whatever it is. And after World War II, it was all right. Like I look at my grandma's, the boomers generation, and they could get a fucking job. Dad worked.
But if you're chopping wood and carrying water, time will either come when it's available or you'll have to make your own time for it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And so now we have literally, it reminds me of like a squirrel or a deer being like, hey, you don't got to look for nuts anymore. I'll get the nuts for you. And I'll just stack them so that this winter you can just fucking have nuts. And through the summer,
the deer's saying this to the squirrel.
Yeah.
I love Tyler stories, dude.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
The deer's saying this to the squirrel. I'll get the nuts for you from now on until over generations, he's not even allowed to get his own nuts or he'll fucking be punished.
Nor does he know how.
And the deer kind of stopped get nuts for him. This is where we're at.
And the ones he did get, they've been sitting there for so long
They're
that
rotting.
they're rotting.
Or he eats them himself.
Yeah.
Hey, go make all this money. Go get your own nuts and then give 30% to me.
And you want to know what the ending of this story is the deer eats the squirrel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And bro, you see that happen sometimes.
Yes.
Every once in a while, a deer will feel a need for protein and it eats a squirrel.
And it eats the squirrel. So whose fault is this? This is the squirrel's fault from being tricked into easiness for a better life.
Bro, I've been saying that same thing lately. I've said it on the show before. The person that I want to vote for, and I'm going to vote for Donald Trump because, and this isn't a dig at Trump when you say like a lesser of two evils. I don't even want to say that. But when you listen to him speak, it's a lot of shit talking about Joe Biden. He was also shit talking on RFK. And then it's everything I'm going to do for you, right? You know what I want a politician to say? Find me the guy that's going to start to run on the platform of no one's coming to save you. I'm not here for you, Greg. I'm not. I'm here to balance the budget and make sure that the government operates with integrity. All right.
Yeah.
That some of things may, as it plays out downstream, be beneficial to you. Some shit might be worse for you because when we bring back manufacturing to the United States, a lot of stuff is going to experience an inflation attached to that. Right. Yeah. Like I'm going to try and fix the system and make it possible for you to pursue happiness.
Right.
That's it. I'm going to make it possible for you to pursue happiness. Whether you find it or not, I don't give a fuck, dude.
Well,
That's on you.
Hope and change, right? That was Obama's slogan. He's selling hope.
I don't want to sell you hope. I don't want to sell you change. I want to sell you
the opportunity to do it yourself.
A government that runs with integrity and will afford you the ability to go chase that goal if that's what you want. But if you're not willing to chase that goal, it's going to be hopeless and changeless for you because that ain't the fucking government's job, dude.
Yeah.
Because you don't have savior complex. This is the black magic spell that's been cursed upon society of there's a savior. There is one, whether it's Jesus or Buddha or Allah or Odin or Trump or Biden or Hillary Clinton or whoever the fuck it is. There is a savior. We've been sold that lie.
Yeah. When Jesus comes back, when Trump comes back, it'll all be better.
Even if that was a true statement.
It's fucking you.
It's you. Yeah. And so it's like, I'm not here to save you. You don't need to be saved. We have all the directions, the elements, we have an abundance of every single thing that we need. We don't need to be saved. Because as soon as we start being saved, we forget chop wood, carry water.
Yeah.
And then we're at the mercy. Then the deer is fucking not giving nuts and he eats us. So it's like, motherfucker, we have to save ourselves in the sense of what does it take for a sovereign being to stay alive on this planet while thriving, we have to get back to the basics. It doesn't mean that we need to go back, if this was even a thing, to caveman time. The technology is fine, but just because you can put ones and zeros onto fucking Windows doesn't mean that you forget how to chop wood, carry water.
Yeah.
You still have to be able to do those things, because if the tech industry ever falls apart, we ever have an EMP, maybe no one can afford to buy houses anymore, what's going to happen? What happens if our currency changes? What happens if they do push a digital ID and CBDC really does become a thing? Then that's no different than Tyler creating something in his shop or in his backyard and saying, sorry, it's not for sale because I'm not even an active participant of society. We have to barter. It could be time, it could be labor. But other than that, it's like, I don't see any way out of this until we realize that I think we need to change our perception on what is easy.
I don't think that, and this is one reason why, like, I don't want to get involved in politics or whatever, is because, bro, I don't think we as individual human beings hold the capacity to change the trajectory of all of these other people.
That would be like telling the leeches not to suck blood.
Yeah. And even the people who claim to be leadership right now don't have the ability to control us. It's all we comply voluntarily.
I think the only thing that sets humanity back on a powerful trajectory is a catastrophic event. Mm-hmm. And that could be man-made or it could not be man-made. I mean, I just watched a show on super volcanoes and it's like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if a fucking super volcano erupts and a whole continent is wiped out and the rest of us have to live under a fucking black cloud for fucking 680 days, okay, suddenly,
yeah,
chop wood, carry water makes sense. Yeah. And we either go back to that or we die.
Or our electrical grid that was built in the 1950s craps out.
And the thing is, like, that's going to happen. And that's not like that. And it might be 400 years from now, right? Or whatever, right? I mean, I don't think so. Yeah. You guys know what I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I'm saying, like, you just look at how the planet works. That's going to happen. Some type of cataclysmic event's going to occur again. Yeah. And I honestly think it might I don't know if we can.
Mother Nature always resets.
And it feels like the reset has to be coming.
We are way out of balance, bro. We are way out of balance, both physically and spiritually.
Dude, there has
to be a correction.
The same show that I watched talked about the tectonic plates moving an inch. They moved an inch one time and caused a fucking, like, one of the worst earthquakes ever. Tsunamis, everything, right? Yeah. Bro, they could move fucking 25 feet right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if that happened, life as we know it on Earth
completely
would
changes.
End, because they said, like, a massive shift would cause global flooding, and a massive shift also opens or unlocks new volcanic activity, and you'd have a bunch of big explosions too.
An atmosphere of sulfur.
And bro, this was like a Netflix special. I think it was Netflix or Hulu. It was one of those things, right? I forget what it was called. But then they said too, because they were talking about, like, how much carbon emission comes out, like, when a volcano explodes. Yeah. And I said, they won't mention it in regards to global warming because that's all controlled by the cabal, right? Yeah. And then the next fucking sentence was like, one super volcano explosion is like 100 years of current humanity's carbon emission. Yeah. And I was like, I guess they're saying the quiet part out loud, right?
Yep. But no one, that's the thing, is that because people just run a program, they won't actually
think about that you're going to start getting taxed,
right?
And you're going to have to live in your 15-minute cities.
Or even just the notion that carbon is bad. Carbon is the element of life. Well, so why are we so worried about fucking carbon?
I love telling people that, like, I know a homie, one of my best friends walking planet Earth, that has serviced your Tesla charging stations that are ran by a fucking diesel generator.
Yeah.
You know, like, There's no free energy.
Yeah.
It comes from something, motherfucker.
But in their mind, it's like, that doesn't matter. I drive a electric vehicle.
In their mind, when they plug in their car, and a dam operator at Grand Coulee Dam opens the spillway a little bit more to add that capacity into the grid. It doesn't fucking happen. Your neighborhood has spiker units that run off natural gas or diesel. And as you're turning things off and on throughout the day, plugging stuff in, that spiker unit either ramps up or ramps down to provide the little detailed energy flow to your house. So everything you're charging at your house is diesel or natural gas.
Dude, the new houses are not having natural gas ran to them.
No, because of all these bullshit Washington state laws, because natural gas puts more carbon in the air.
So are they back to putting wood stoves in houses?
No, that burns way too much carbon.
They haven't thought that far ahead, Greg. It's all electric now.
I seen in New York that they were going to ban burning
capacity.
Firewood. If you burn wood, it's like illegal.
Dude, in Washington state, they're moving towards burning propane and natural gas.
Yeah, you can't. When I built my home.
What do you mean moving towards it? I thought I said they banned it.
They
in
just
new construction.
Oh God. No, they just passed a law this year. It's not going to ban it. It's going to make it really, really expensive to use gas. Like my propane bill for March and April was $400 a month. That's fucking insane. Just because of all these fees they add on top of it.
I don't even know what bills.
And the idea is to force you out of using fossil fuels just through regulatory fees.
Yeah.
Because they have to bottleneck us into.
They have to falsely make it expensive.
They are creating scarcity. There is no scarcity in this fucking realm unless man is telling you there is, and they're putting dams and
fuel comes out of the fucking ground.
Yeah.
It's unlimited. The energy is unlimited. For people who don't believe that, go back and look at like the 1851 St. Louis World Fair. Most people are like, I've never even heard of that. Well, I'm telling you, go look at the pictures from the St. Louis World Fair in 1851. And how was this place all fucking lit up when Edison and Tesla weren't until the early 1900s? Something happened. They have crystal palaces that are massive. You have in San Francisco 600 acres of marble, gold, copper fucking buildings with Greco-Roman infrastructure and architecture. All lit up, but yet they still have a dirt road. Okay?
Yeah.
The history is being rewritten, and we only know what we were taught once the Rockefellers came in and redid what they want you to learn in public education.
Well, did you listen to that Rogan episode where that guy had proven that the holes in the pyramids were cut with an actual, like a drill, a cutting, something that
rotates
because they could trace the revolutions through this. Was it giant granite rock? Was it limestone?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, like how much longer? It's bizarre to me that, especially archaeologists,
they just will not budge.
Hey, we thought this was what's going to...
This is what I learned in 5th grade. This is what I'm hanging on to.
Hey, dude, we thought up until now, based on our findings and our conclusions, that this is what happened. But you know what? Based on this, there's a whole new realm to jump into. Shouldn't that excite those kind of communities?
Yes.
But it sounds like fucking science has come up with the narrative.
It's a religion.
And now if you step outside of that narrative...
Don't argue with the dogma.
It's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Like Graham Hancock talking about the fucking floods in Yakima and shit. Can't talk about that. Like, what the fuck you talking about?
Yeah, and then you zoom out on Google Earth and look at it, and it's like, oh shit, they're right. Yeah.
There's this whole, what we believe to be true is, as our history, is simply a fucking lie. And as soon as we can grasp that, like, just have the humility to say, okay, maybe... what if whatever I learned happened to not be true?
Yeah.
And how would that affect me? Do I want to continue getting reassurance that if what I believe is not true, to be true, even though it's a lie? Or would I rather, no matter what, maybe everything I fucking know is completely bullshit, I want the truth? I think we need to come to the point of how long do we want to live in the facade of a fairy tale? Because, like I just talked about, free energy. Okay. Benjamin Franklin flew his fucking kite up in the air with a key and pulled in electricity. From where? From the ether. The fifth element, the one Terrence Howard talks about that's been erased from science. When we go and drill water, the drilling company will only go to like 300 or 320 feet. And then if they don't hit water, you have to drill another hole somewhere else. Well, what I found is if you drill further than that, there's unlimited water. It's the primordial water or primary water source of this world. The rain is not. That's the secondary source that we were taught in school. If you drill far enough, no matter where you're at in the world, you will have unlimited water. Gaddafi was killed for this, going around drilling fucking wells in Africa, giving people water when it was supposed to be a fucking Sahara desert. Lake Elsinore, down in by like Murrieta, Temecula.
I lived there.
Okay.
My house was in Lake Elsinore.
Okay. Lake Elsinore dried up in the early, I think 1952. Dried up. They fucking tried to come in and reroute some of the rivers to come in. It wasn't working. They had some dude come with dowsing rods and he was like, drill right here. No one believed him. They drilled right there. That water has not went dry since. It's filled up today because it's unlimited. It comes from the bottom. It doesn't come from the top. But then we have government that likes to tell us, hey, we'll drill you a well, but it can't be deeper than 300 feet. Otherwise, we'll have to charge you for the next one. And we don't know if we're going to hit it or not. Well, that's a fucking racket.
Yeah, and it's not your water, it's our water, and you have to pay usage fees.
Right. And then we're paying the PUD government shit for our electricity when it could be harnessed for free. The oil is unlimited. They tell us it's not because it's from fossilized dinosaur bones.
No shit. The more you think about that, shut the fuck up. Like dead things die and then it becomes petroleum.
Well, bro, here's the thing, bro. If you would have told me everything that you were taught was a lie, and everything you learned in school, the traditional history, if you would have told me that even as soon as releasing it is 5 years ago,
I think I broke someone like a year or two ago. I won't say who, but we were having the same kind of conversation. They were doubting me. And I said, well, hang on, just suspend everything you think is true for a minute. Let's live in fairy tale land. What if everything in your history book in school is wrong? They're like, yeah, but this is the one that everybody agreed on and they published. And like, okay, who wrote it? It was Pergamon Hill, whatever.
Of course, bro. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, who wrote it? And when they realize they can't answer who wrote the history book and who agreed upon it, then it's like, oh, fuck. We just accepted it because it's the one the school signed off on. Hey, the school said this is the one. This is the acceptable version.
I think humanity kind of just in good faith agreed, like these powerful people, these governments have our best interests in mind.
We have an authoritarian program that says authority is right.
And what they tell us is correct. And that's why I would have believed it until, and I'm not saying like, oh, well, all history is wrong because I don't know, right? Mm-hmm. But what I am saying is, based on the last 3 years, hey, guess what else is a lie from your government? Oh, our history? Got it.
From a very young age.
Like that checks out. That doesn't surprise me.
From a very young age, you're told to stand in line, look straight ahead, sit at your desk, don't, you know what I mean? Talk when spoken to. And so you're taught not to question authority. I'm laughing right now because I'm about to go home and tell my pre-adolescent sons to start questioning authority.
Except you don't. Well, you can even question me.
Question me too.
Start at home. Start at home.
But if it gets out of line, I'll fucking still strangle you.
Yep.
Yeah. And maybe, we came in here to talk about resistance and how to do it. And maybe that's the most important step is to start questioning every authority in your life and really try to drill down on it. Who wrote this book? Who's telling me to do this? Why are they telling me to do this? And try to come up with, maybe you'll come to legitimate reasons and you'll say, hey, you know what? This one's okay. But maybe you'll start finding some threads that as you pull them, like with who wrote the history books, that thread just keeps pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling, and you never really get to the end of it.
No, bro. You go down all the fucking rabbit holes of all the food getting fucking converted.
That tells you, that kind of tells you that, hey, there's a reason I can't get to the end of this thread.
Yeah.
Because if there was truth behind it, I should reach the end pretty fast.
And the reason why it's so hard for us to get to the truth is because there was a repopulation that happened in our country.
Orphan trains.
Yes, orphan trains and incubator babies. I don't know what cataclysm happened, but at some point, especially during the World Fairs in the late 1800s, early 1900s, they had orphan trains. Where these orphans came from, I'm not sure, but they repopulated the city. You could go to the World Fairs and purchase
humans.
Yes, incubator babies.
Cabbage Patch Kids.
Cabbage Patch Kids. The first film, Hollywood film, that ever came out is about breeding humans out of a cabbage patch. Okay? Like growing.
You know what it's called?
No, but you can just type in first film ever. It's in black and white. And it's this like fairy godmother who's growing humans out in a farm as Cabbage Patch Kids. There's thousands of different postcards from back then of Cabbage Patch Kids you would send, and then you would buy a human. I don't know where they came from. It's the weirdest thing, but right after that.
But we live in the web of weird.
Yes,
Yeah.
but we live in the web of weird. And right after that is when John D. Rockefeller came in and started rewriting history, his story. You guys want to know America's history? It's his story by John D. Rockefeller. He came in and started rewriting it. Anyone who didn't go along with the new narrative is going to go to the orphan fucking...
Or to a reservation.
Or to a reservation. Any adult who doesn't go along with the new narrative will go to an insane asylum. Ever notice how we don't have insane asylums anymore? Like it's not like
phased out.
Right?
Yeah, Reagan got rid of them.
Because
that generation had died out.
Exactly. We don't need them anymore. It only takes 3 or 4 generations for history to get rewritten.
Yeah.
If you ask a white person in America what their fucking ancestors or your heritage, they're going to say something of like Ireland or something like that. But then it will be like, but who's your ancestors?
Yeah. No.
What,
idea.
Abe Lincoln, Benjamin Franklin, George Washington? No. Because we can't get back more than 4 fucking generations here in America. Then it always goes, for me, it like goes back to Norway. It goes to Iceland. It goes to Sweden.
Yeah.
What was here prior to like 1850?
Is there a good book on this that you've read?
I'm going to send you guys a video.
Okay.
Actually, everyone listening.
Do you listen to the Great Awakening podcast ever? Do you know that one?
I haven't listened to podcasts for a while because I was at home and I found that I actually gained a ton by sitting in silence by myself.
Yeah.
But now that I am going back to work, I got a long ass commute and I have been listening to podcasts. But on the Stu Peters show, who I don't even know much about, the other day there was a video by Hibbler Productions. Maybe I'll send you the link so you can drop it in the
show notes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, do that.
That is fantastic on what I just went over. Orphan trains, Cabbage Patch Kids, the fucking fairs. I mean, bro, the one that's 600 acres of the most magnificent fucking architecture I've ever seen in my life. They say took 9 months to build.
Oh, yeah. Hang on. Architecture and building is another clue that I stumble on because of construction, which is if you look at some of this older architecture, like the large stone cathedrals and even some of the buildings in Washington, D.C. and whatnot. I work for the biggest contractors in Seattle. This is mega construction. They are not capable of building that.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts.
That ability, I'm pretty sure, does not exist today. And we're the most modern and advanced we've ever been.
But here's this cathedral that's magnificent in every fucking inch
detail
on the outside and on the inside is highly intricate, carved, fucking symbolism, all sorts of shit. And then
healing frequencies in their bells,
right?
Healing frequencies in their stained glass.
We can't get fucking flat drywall.
and there's a donkey out fucking front on a dirt road.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah.
It's not happening. And then they all the black and white pictures all have vanilla sky, meaning it's always the sky is white because they don't want you to be able to see what else is in the background. you would see other fucking buildings.
Yeah.
It wasn't, when we came to this place, it wasn't just barren land. This place was already massively fucking built. We've had castles, we have star forts, we have stargates, we have fucking tunnel systems, we have all of these things, but then we had World War I and World War II, which one destroyed infrastructure, the other rebuilt history. And then, but the thing is that they didn't get rid of everything.
I was going to say, do you think things are gone, or do you think they're just...
No, they're still
clues
there.
and hints. Yeah.
Dude, go to fucking Seattle. There's a whole underground Seattle. For what? Oh, well, we just built on top of it because of...
Yeah. We actually did the math one day at work. And in order to rebuild Seattle after the Great Fire, in the time they said they did, they would have had to produce, it was something like 30 million bricks a day from the brick factory.
Just bricks.
And then get them stacked that day.
And travel them with their donkey and their fucking wooden wheeled carriage. It's not possible once you find out that every single major city in our country all burned to the ground in the late from 1700s to fucking 1900s. Every one. But yet, they're made of stone and marble. Bro, I'm a blacksmith. I put shit in a forge.
That's true. All the great fires in the cities happened in like the late 1800s. Like there was a great Seattle fire, a great Ellensburg fire, and a great Spokane fire, all within like 3 months of each other.
Right. But then it was rewritten. You can go down to Pioneer Square in downtown Seattle and look at the sunken ship parking garage. And it's like this. But on this road, it's like here, and this one's going up, but it's down. Why? Because we built on top of the old city. You can take brick like falling off the corner of certain walls, and you can see Greco-Roman architecture under the brick. What we're seeing is a facade. It's like a fucking movie set. Bro, the craziest. I'm like sitting there one day going, holy shit. Even the railways, dude. I'm not convinced that black slaves built our fucking railroads.
Chinese.
The Chinese. Yeah. No, I think it was already here.
Oh, no,
and it was
dug out. Chinese slaves who built the railroad.
Right, but I think it was already dug out. I think the railroads were already here. The mud flood happened, and when I look back at these fucking pictures of slaves and all this shit, it looks like they're digging it out. It doesn't look like they're putting it down. Do you know how hard it would be to fucking forge parallel tracks for thousands and thousands of miles?
Yeah, you're right.
Do you know how much metal it takes to be able to make a train for one railroad?
One section of
rail.
Bro,
it's unbelievable amounts of work. I'm gonna fucking put some show notes. I'm gonna send them to you.
Yeah,
because there's things on here that's like, it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And they'll say like the World Fairs, where it's like they built all this in 9 months or 2 years, and then they tore it all down. Or there's this picture the other day that's black and white, but it's been photoshopped. Not the way that we Photoshop, but if you zoom in, you can see that someone's like cut a different picture out and pasted it on.
The original Photoshop.
The original is actually cut. The edges is all fucked up. And you think like, well, that's weird.
Yeah, airbrush it and put it in the history book.
That's like the old pictures of people sitting with Sasquatch. Shit like that.
Do you remember blimps when you were a kid?
Airships?
Like a blimp, Goodyear blimp, Michelin blimp. Okay, have you seen any in the last 20 years?
Just over sporting events.
Right.
Yeah, not since like the 1950s.
Back to the 1800s, there's pictures of these things called Zeppelins. They're airships. They're giant. And we've been convinced that a blimp, you would just sit in that little pod underneath. It's this giant thing. But there's all these pictures. It's like a cruise. Mm-hmm. And they're going around to the tops of the Empire State Building, all these things, and like fucking getting off. It's a ship. It's like there's dance halls. There's all these different things. And they'd use it with hydrogen. But NASA now owns all of the hydrogen. So you can't have those airships because they used to be able to travel very far in a really luxurious, comfortable, where like not expensive. Someone like me or you could fucking get on it. And then I want to say there was a catastrophic, in my opinion, this was done on purpose. but a catastrophic, like airship explosion.
the
that
Hindenburg.
Hindenburg.
yeah.
It's like the first video footage.
Yeah.
Remember that the announcer still in that like old school radio voice,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Right. And then they pushed that out to the world, and now everyone
get on those fucking things.
Nope. Everyone's scared shitless,
Yeah.
and they shut it down. And now ask your children what a blimp is. They don't know,
Yeah.
because this is how history
It's
works.
fucking nuts. Well, fuck, we're 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
We gotta
Yeah,
wrap.
yeah.
We gotta wrap it up.
I want to go. You guys want to go get an omelet? I
have
I gotta go
a dinner
home.
I gotta get to, but I might sauna real quick. You want a sauna?
I got to go eat.
All right. That's it.